Well, good rising, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Talk with me, Karen B. How are y'all doing today? Oh, shit. Always forgetting to hit go live on Rockfin. I really hate that you have to hit go. I don't know why. For so long, I didn't have a problem doing it, but now I do. I got it. You missed the intro, but big deal. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Listen, it's not easy. It's not easy doing everything yourself all the time, remembering every little detail. You know what? Man, I don't have my coffee. I think I left it on the counter. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a production team. What you see is what you get. WYSIWYG. You know what I'm saying? Totally forgot my coffee. Anyway, hi Spicy Sarah. No, Rockfin's on now. I started it. I'm sorry. Rockfin's on now. My bad. Cheers, BCC. Hi, Cammy. Aisling717. Melodome. Three Fingers. Good to see you. Billingtano Bear. Carrie Musgrave. Hi, Carrie. Thank you for saying Happy Mother's Day. Cheers. Did you forget to start Rockfin manually? Yes, I did, Benny boy. I sure did. I sure did. Hi, Conspiracy Music Guru. Peace and love and good happiness stuff. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Let me... How do I... Let me see. There. There's the Rockfin chat. I don't know. Should I leave it there? Is anybody chatting in Rockfin? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Alright. So anyway, it is Moonday once again, May the 15th of 2023. And, it's the beginning of spring. It's Ted. I gotta say, shout out to Ted. I love Ted. He worked his butt off in the garden yesterday, getting everything planted. He went and got some plants for us from the farmer's market because Karen lost the tub of seeds. I have a whole tub of seeds, and it's like they just disappeared. I looked everywhere, and I haven't been able to find them. So I was just like, what do we do? I have no seeds, and so we had to go buy some plants from the farmer's market, and we got them all planted yesterday. It was fun. And it's supposed to be all rainy this week, so that should be good for the plants. Yeah, man. I need a production crew. For real. Been taking Kapow from Tippecanoe Herbs. Has replaced my coffee for now. Really? Maybe I'll try some of that. What's in it? We love all the mothers out there because without you we wouldn't be here. Cheers, Run Boston Bear. Remember, only girls can be the mommy. Thank you, Mr. Rogers, for being the voice of reason in this time of insanity. Shout out to Mr. Rogers. Know what I'm saying? Let me open my phones.
Welcome to the conference center. You are a host.
Here we go. So, yeah, good rising. YouTube algorithms have been suggesting good FE videos. It suggested your My Journey to FE video, which I hadn't seen. It was good. Oh, cheers, Scott Hunter. Really? You know what? It's so ironic that you say that because I've been losing subscribers on YouTube. I feel like YouTube is unsubscribing people from my channel because I keep hovering right around the 15,300 mark. Like, it was... For a while, I was gaining subs really good there for a minute, and I got like over 15,300. It was like 15,320 something at one point, right? And then it's like it just started dumping. And it would still have a positive number as of people subscribing over the month, but then the subscriber count was going down. It was weird, and it's still doing it. Like yesterday it was 301 and now it's 300. I don't know what YouTube does. You know, I mean, we all know they all just, it's like, you know, I feel like they're not sending out my alerts. So just to make sure you're subscribed and belled. Just make sure. Although if you're here, you probably are subbed and belled and you did get a notification by some miracle. 65 people. Usually I have more people than that in here by now, but I don't know. I think YouTube's throttling me a little bit. So, you know, it's like every time things start to go good on YouTube, you're like, oh wow, it's kind of cool for a minute, and it never lasts long. It never lasts long. So, yeah, I don't know. But I also stream on Rockfin when I remember to hit the go live button. And on Rumble and Facebook and Twitch, all these places, you know, I'm live there, just in case YouTube shits the bed. You get my notifications and never Austin Witzits. Yeah, I'm sure YouTube wants to throttle him too. Probably more than me. But has cordyceps, yerba mate, and a few other goodies. Highly recommend. Oh, okay. Cool, Logan Cook. I may try that out. No, I didn't hear his talk with Professor Robert. What's my Facebook? Karen BFE. But where I stream, so like if you go to facebook.com/karen.b.fe, okay? And then I always post my streams publicly there, but I'm actually streaming to this page. It's called Deception, Fraud, and Fakery. It used to be called Flat Earth News and Reports. And you know, Rose has been changing the name of it to try to get it to, you know, get past algorithms, but it's got 68,000 followers. So, you know, and then I stream to that page and then I just post it. I share it on my main Facebook page. And that's where I be at all the time. And oddly enough, Facebook does not censor any of my videos. They'll kind of, you know, sometimes if you play music, it'll be like, this is blocked, blah, blah, blah. But they don't ever pull anything down for what you say. Like anything that I've ever streamed, that got taken down from YouTube, if I ever streamed it to Facebook, it's probably still there. We have removed my thumbs up twice this stream so far. What is going on? Yeah, see, I know. It happens to me too sometimes. I'm telling you, man. And also, if you're on Telegram, I always post, you know, I post links to my videos in my group, my Rebellion Telegram group there. Maybe I should just suck it up and set up an alerts channel for my videos. I just feel like, do people use those alert channels for people's stuff on Telegram. I don't know. I feel like they just don't use those very more. I don't. Probably should though. Yeah, so anyway, this is a call-in show if you want to call in. 848-222-2480. Same number as Strange World. What is popular? Okay, listen, I'm just gonna take 1 sec. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my coffee. I won't even put the break thing on. Alright. Coffee. Suck. What are you saying that for? Anyway. Did you? Yes, I did. Okay, so let me go back. I'm rounding Karen's stream through Logic Pro and converting the stream to 432 on the fly. Really? CMG, that's very interesting. Valley Parks, good to see you. Spicy Sarah, of course, good to see you. Jose Nunez, buenos dias, amigos. Zulu 1, Shalom, Rethink Inc. Can't wait to meet many of y'all in Vegas. Has just the hotel been announced yet? Yes. So far, just the hotel. Sam's Town Hotel and Casino is where the event will be. You can stay there or anywhere else you want to stay that is in Las Vegas. The picture of the moon behind Karen was taken from the northern hemisphere looking southeast. Possibly, but it's just a sticker. That's just the way I placed it. Probably because that's how I recognize looking at it. I don't know. Isn't that funny? They shove trans crap in our faces all day. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It really is kind of crazy what goes on. There's a lot of stuff going, like weird random stuff going on in the world. You know, if you take some time to look around, like fish around on the internet for like current events and stuff that's going on around different places, like there's a lot of stuff going on all the time, everywhere. People are busy MFers. You know what I'm saying? Like the other day I was looking around, I was doing that. And I was like, oh my God, stimulation overload, right? I think it was probably Saturday because, you know, it was the Sabbath. So, you know, I try to not do anything major on Saturday. So just laying around looking on the internet and I was like, holy overstimulation, Batman. Holy overstimulation. Like there's stuff going on all the time, everywhere, all the time. So, you know, it's just funny. Pulse Chain is live. Congratulations for those who sacrificed. That's right, Adrian Marcus. Pulse Chain went live Friday. Conspiracy Music Guru, how about releasing a whole album of coffee shop lounge jazz in 432? How about no? That's so funny. If you did it though, I would play it on here. Just saying. I would play it. In the movie The Golden Compass, the multiple moons are just different angles of our moon. Shit is crazy in Africa right now, giving the finger to the West, right? Really? Okay, so what else is going on in Africa? The dispensary is on the same road as the hotel. Just saying. That's funny. Yeah, there's everything right around there. Like, it's off the strip. It's really cool because it's off the strip and, it's still in Vegas and it's a cool place. You guys, I think we'll have a really good time there. They were lazier than NASA. Yeah. I didn't sacrifice for Pulse, but I did manage to sacrifice for Pulse X, so that was cool. Did you ratio trading when it opened? Because the bridge isn't open yet. It's kind of fun, right? I think I got some good deals. It's just fun. It feels like play money. It's kind of exciting because there's no dollar value on anything yet. So you won't even know what any of it's worth until the bridge opens. So it's kind of fun. Just messing around. Oh, we got a caller. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Good morning, Run Boston Bear checking in.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, I'm just chilling. I called before you answered my question about the hotel because I thought you missed my question, but you answered it. So now I'm online. It looks like $150 a night. I'm about to book this thing just to hold it. And would you recommend like coming in the Friday before and leaving the Monday after?
Sure. Well, I'm going to be booking rooms for all of my participants, right? Like all my speakers and stuff and anybody who's going to be there. They're going to have rooms Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night at the hotel.
Yeah. That seems legit. Yeah, it's going to be my first one. I'm really excited just because, you know my story. I'm only like 14 months into the journey, so super stoked to meet people face to face. It's awesome to do Discord and Telegram and YouTube chats and stuff, but to be face to face and be like, thank you for what you do in this community, it's going to be awesome. I'm so pumped.
Oh, it's going to be so great. It's going to be so great. Like, I can't really say all who may or may not be there now yet, but there's going to be some very well-known people there who are either flat earthers or flat earth adjacent. Because it's Vegas. It's so easy to get people there. That's why I wanted to do it there. Because I knew it would be the perfect place to get, some very well-known people there and get them to hang out with the flat earthers, right? It'd be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Because nothing makes us feel better when we get validated by hanging out with like other well-known people who have a huge following, no matter what it is they do that made them have that huge following, right? And they they're down with it, right? It's the best.
It is. Totally. And if anybody has a rental car, the Grand Canyon's super close by, and that's mesmerizing. If nobody's ever seen it in person, it like takes your breath away. Perspectively speaking, your mind and your eyes have a hard time taking in just like how big it is. And I've been there twice, so I don't know that there's really going to be time for people to zip over there or not. But if you come in early or stay a little late, it would be a good day trip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. The Grand Canyon is a cool place, and it is freaking huge. I went there years ago, and it's there's a few places where you can stand, and it's almost nauseating.
Yeah. One of the wonders of the world. I had dropped a comment too about Austin's talk with Professor Roberts. Like, it was chill. It was the first of his series in the field. He has the rap song In the Field, but now he's starting a series where he really wants to get credentialed people to talk about their field, and he's not like attacking them. He's not trying to like beat them down, but this talk ended up going for 3 hours and 45 minutes, and he's a professor in astronomy and teaches and knows a lot. And he really held his feet to the fire and was like, yeah, but what about these inconsistencies? I can't say it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like the loopholes and the band-aids that the heliocentric model requires, because sure, they have a quote unquote model, but there's like 15 models that make sense, but they don't all make sense together. And it was really cool. He was professional. It didn't really get sideways, but maybe once when Austin was like, yeah, but it's like a religion. It's like a cult. And he got offended because he's like, I'm not in a cult. But probably one of the best videos I've ever seen of anyone holding their own on truth, you know, because that's all we're looking for is what is the truth of the realm we live in?
Mm-hmm.
And the world says, no, you can't ask that. It's all been shown to us. Look at the moon missions. Look at the pictures of the blue marble. See, it's been proven. It's like, no, that's CGI. That's pseudoscience. No, let's talk real. And I hope he has more people on. I hope he has more professionals that will be willing to come in and talk because, yeah, you're going to love it when you guys check that out.
Yeah, that sounds great. What's it is a really smart guy. I really like him. But I do think he's trying to do too much at once. I wish he would.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate.
I know. He needs to be careful that he doesn't burn himself out. Seriously, I worry about that for him.
Yeah,
so.
He's doing pretty good at bringing some people into help, especially with the audit NASA stuff.
Good.
That's getting rolling. But yeah, I mean, we can all pray over him because he's got a new baby, Aaliyah, and you know, he's got a lot of responsibilities at the home and then all these different streams and all these different ideas. And yeah, just prayers over him for protection and guidance and endurance because he's really doing big stuff, just like you are. I mean, you're doing a ton too.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. You got to find balance. And sometimes you have to just not do stuff, even if it sounds like it's a really good idea and you want to do it. Like there's things I still want to do that I just haven't had the time or resources to do it. But I still think they're good ideas and needed, but I just can't do everything. You know, it's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, I'm about to pack for a trip to California. I have a half Ironman on Saturday, and I'm behind on getting my stuff together. So enjoyed the quick chat. I can't wait to meet all y'all in person and keep crushing. I guess the last thing I'll say is I'm really finding peace and joy in being calm about this journey. Like the Globers try to get people really anxious and defending what we believe. I mean, this whole deal is really their faith against like what we're finding to be true and our current faith on what this place is that we live. But if the true earthers or flat earthers, doesn't matter. I know it matters to some, but the people who are seeking out what this realm is, if they can stay calm and loving and high vibration and in the light and not triggered or bothered by other people attacking them, I think that that's going to move our goalposts forward in love, and it will actually make a difference because every time we get anxious and we're fighting and arguing, that kind of is just stagnating, or you know what I mean? So try to take deep breaths, realize that we know we're figuring out the truth, and people are going to hate us for claiming that we have found something that they can't see yet. So I'm lifting all y'all up as you seek, because your family will trip out, your friends will trip out, and that's okay. They don't know what we know right now. So keep crushing, y'all.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'll keep listening. Have a good day.
You too. Yeah, man. So yeah, only the hotel has been announced. I probably will. I know I need to start selling tickets. That I think will be announced on Strange World tomorrow. Hello from illegal alien invasion port of El Paso, Texas. It's true, we're being overrun. Really? Yeah, man. Listen, that's one of the things I've been looking at on Twitter. Let's see. Hashtag El Paso. There's a bunch of people. Look at all this. People on the streets. People storming through the border. The mayor of El Paso declared state of emergency. Here's some people at the wall. A few minutes after filming this video, this whole group, consisting of mainly military-age males, ran away from Border Patrol, National Guard, DPS, and into the streets of El Paso, Texas. So, look at that. All of them all along the wall there. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And, you know, and some people they're like, I guess they're ditching their papers, and like there's papers from all over, like Peru, or something I was seeing, just all those countries, and some Middle Eastern stuff. So remember, people can go, you know, they can go from other countries through to these southern countries and then make the land travel up into America that way. It's pretty crazy how many people have been coming over. Been saying like 10,000 people have been coming over the border a day. Two Venezuelan women have come forward and disclosed that they were sexually assaulted by a cartel group in Mexico prior to their arrival in El Paso, Texas. Oh my gosh. Oof. Turned herself in, one of the first with her daughter and husband. They're released with their notice of peer doxing can travel to their final destination under Title 42. So that's what it is. Title 42 has ended. Gate 42 opened on expiration of Title 42. How ironic. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy what's going on over there. I'm glad I don't live in a border town right now, to be honest with you. Nothing against Mexicans, because I have Mexican relatives, but this is insanity, you know, who knows who these people are, what they're doing. It's just crazy. Complain about their free food. What's your Zane Solohaker? What's your opinion on the sun and moon as holographic? Well, you know, who knows what the sun and moon are? It's all speculation, but I mean, they do seem to behave like holographic objects, just because everything is observer based, and like two people could be standing right next to each other and see the sun in a different position. And the moon, you know, it's like when you're young and you're watching. I remember so many times being very young and watching the full moon out the window when I was driving in the car with my mom, and thinking that like it looks like the moon is following me. Like that is a holographic property, right? When like it's like when you see those trick mirrors and it looks like it's following you. Well, obviously it's not really following you, but it looks that way. That's a holographic property. So I mean, now that doesn't mean that they don't have other properties too, like the sun emitting heat and UV rays and blah blah blah, but you know, it just makes it extremely difficult to understand what exactly the sun and moon are. You know what I'm saying? I'm from El Paso, and oof, it's definitely the smelly armpit of Texas. Kiev cabal thrown under the bus by Ukrainians who care about Ukrainians. Zelensky's men working hand in glove with Russia's Wagner. Ukrainian president review sparks. I don't know, man. The border is a serious. I feel like the border is a bigger problem than Ukraine and Russia, right? You know, they have all this. That's, you know, they've got all this shit in the news about the Ukraine and Russia, but are they talking about, you know, our own borders? What's going on? Like that, when there's an influx like that of people, it really is a strain on people. Mark Sargent, I got up early. Wow, good to see you, Mark. Good rising. California looks like Mexico now. Yeah. Hi, Tony Coriolis. Mark Wontraba. Good to see you over there on the Rockfin side. Maybe. And BJD Cleary on Rumble. Yeah. Holograms produced by parabolic dishes actually augment some of the physical properties. There is a plant that grows just outside of El Paso in Huecotinx Mountains that doesn't grow anywhere else on the plain. Well, what is it? Is it peyote? Remember when somebody was talking about a cactus? I forget what I was watching now. Anyway. Plain truth. Happy Mother's Day from the UK for yesterday. Thank you. Cheers. Zulu one isn't Zulu, the name of an African tribe. No, that was that Shaka Zulu movie that they used to play about an African tribe on TV like all the time. I remember being young and always seeing like commercials for Shaka Zulu. Remember that? I never ever watched it because it just looked scary to me. But remember they used to play it all the time? I don't know. That's maybe me showing my age. Yeah, so I had forgot that I went and took a bunch of screenshots of magnetic maps and whatnot. And I'm waiting for... Oh, here we go. And I wonder if I could place them all together to make one big map. That's what I've been trying to do here with some stuff, because like some of these older maps, it's hard to find high-res versions of them, right? So I was like thinking I might be able to make bigger versions of them by taking multiple screenshots and then having them pieced together in Photoshop. Photoshop has this whatchamacallit, it's a feature called Photo Merge, where it'll take multiple images and merge them together. So I'm going to try to do that. See how it works out. Down in there too? No, because I already have that side. See if it works. It's gonna do it now. It's thinking about it. Great movie about the British Zulu War was called Zulu 1964. Highly recommend. Huh. Ooh. Pop, pop, pop. Hi, Rico's tinfoil sombrero. I have a problem with the US. Nothing personal. It's just what they do. It's not us, it's the government. Listen, all governments are bad. Don't blame us for what our crappy government does. I don't like them either. Please don't blame me. Please don't blame us for the evil governments. I mean, you know. They all do lame stuff. Did it work? Nope, still thinking about it. I wonder if it can do it. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Do it, do it. Oof. Probably not the best thing to do while I'm streaming. Shaka Zulu will be a Mandela effect. Why'd he say that? Zulu is a tribe. I used it for Zulu time. Still thinking about it. That is a fail. What did it do? All right. Don't save that. File, automate, photo merge. Let me try that again. If you guys don't mind. I may have added the wrong shots together. It's hard to tell which ones are which. But let me see. This one. This one. This one. This one. This one. Okay, let's try it. Cylindrical, spherical. Let's try that way. Oof. I wonder if those lines are throwing it off. Because that's not how it's supposed to go. I might just have to do it myself. Well, let's try these three. File, automate, photo merge. We're gonna do. Let's go to list. $11.19. $452.47. Let's try to do part of the world at once. See if it works. I think the lines are throwing it off. Maybe I'm using the wrong thing. I think I might know what I did. If this works, you know how many high-res maps we could just make from screenshots? Seriously. So now I'm gonna try a bunch of them again, but I'm gonna do it a different way. Okay. See? They bombed us with the Shaka Zulu commercials. They had to be programming us to forget something else. Mark Sargent says, AFK for a bit, taking a shower, completely naked. We'll be back though. So naked, hot set, hot sex. Everybody picture Mark Sargent naked. I think it's still thinking. Let's see if it'll do it. I'm super interested. What are the benefits of the plant? Good times for all. Which plant? Well, yeah, it didn't. I think the lines are confusing it. That's a bummer. I think it's these magnetic declination lines are confusing the Photoshop. Oh God, disgusting. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my goodness. So anyway, well, that was kind of a bust. I'm sorry about that. So the other stuff that's been going on that I was noticing when I was looking around at stuff, well, there's a lot of stuff about Pulse and Pulsex you'll see because I follow a lot of that stuff because I'm into that. But what was the other thing that I was seeing? Oh, have you guys seen this bullshit? FBI/Patriot Front caught on camera praising Hitler. Okay, so there's this group called Patriot Front that, that they supposedly they marched on Washington, D.C. Look at this. Supposedly it's some like right-wing conservative. Look at their Reclaim America. They're flying upside down American flags and some other kind of flag. What kind of other kind of flag are those? So anyway, look at how militant these guys look. Like, they're trying to say that they keep their identities hidden and they're just normal everyday people, but like these guys with their uniforms and they're being flanked by the cops. Like, how militant does this look? Like, that is not, that's not just everyday people doing that stuff. So, anyway, everybody's assuming that these guys are just the feds or CIA or some sort of, like, group that they put together, to try to go out and try to make all the right-wing people look like a bunch of Ku Klux Klan Hitler-loving racists. It's like a thing where they're like trying to push that divide where like conservatives are being associated with like white supremacy or something. It's really kind of crazy, like the bullshit that's being pulled on everybody. So look, I haven't watched this yet. This is funny. Wait, where did it go? What happened? I was gonna watch that. Here we go.
Victory. Liberty.
So,
Life, liberty, victory.
Life, liberty, victory!
Damn, son, that might be a cut.
That's a good take right there.
Sieg fucking high. Let's fucking go. I can say that now that it's over.
Beers! I want to have my finger up my
Life, liberty, victory.
Life, liberty, victory!
Damn, son, that might be a cut.
That's a good take right there.
Sieg fucking high. Let's fucking go. I can say that now that it's over.
Beers! I want to have my finger up my
I mean, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Like, this is just a big steaming pile of doo-doo. Everybody's calling them feds. Like, Joe Rogan's calling them feds. Maybe they are. I don't know. Patriot Front, stay away. FBI informant Thomas Rousseau. Anyway, after their 1-hour clown show, Patriot Front packed up all their flags and toy shields in a U-Haul and then made their way into the metro. Somebody should tell the feds to try a little harder. Ha! Military shit right there. Their posture. They're all, like, none of them are overweight. They're all, like, in spec. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just ridiculous. The division they're still trying to drive. I mean, they are really, if you're watching from the outside and you're aware of anything at all, like, they're trying so hard to just drive the division deep down in the country. It's just like, they're trying to make a new civil war, it almost seems like. Pushing this stupid racial bullshit. So June 11th, 2022, this is a while ago, a U-Haul full of mass Patriot Front members was pulled over in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. 31 members were arrested and one of them was carrying a megaphone with FBI marked on it. I mean, does everyone want to see something very unusual about Patriot Front and have your minds bent all the way to sustainability goals? In late 2021, a woman journo was the first to announce the PDF March On. Reclaim America. I mean, whatever. I mean, look at these dudes. They even have they're like the color, their patches. Stupid. Propaganda, yeah. Can't believe anyone believes this crap. I know. I'm sure there are real patriot militias out there, and this is to make millions look bad and real bad to the public. I agree, Joe Cool, because real patriots and real militias, they don't do this shit. First of all, they don't hide their faces. Second of all, they don't go marching like this in a fucking parade, for shits and giggles at the Capitol or in Idaho or wherever they're doing their little marches at. Like, it's ridiculous. Right? But it's just obvious. You know, it's obvious what they're doing to me, but it's, you know, I just wonder how many people will fall for that crap. Patriot Front is entering DC via the metro. Looks like 150 plus guys. What is this? Look at this crap. All with their they all have military boots, tactical pants. And who's this Yahoo? Is that supposed to be this other dude that they were showed a picture of earlier? This guy? He is also the founder of Patriot Front. Get out of here. A group called Patriot Front protesting in DC. What do you think? They are false flag, FBI, or other federal agents pretending, or a real group of protesters? Well, what do people think? FBI or other government agents, real group, not government. So most people think they're agents. 80% think that they're... Look at Elon. Someone should go ask them, right? Is this a Q person? Where we? Oh yeah, this is a. Is this a remnant of the Q nonsense? Bring white supremacy back to the public eye. It's time for white Republicans to file a class action lawsuit against the FBI for orchestrating these to make us look bad. These masks are hysterical. Only a liberal would wear one. Ha! Look at, there you go. Dear feds, at least change the uniform. They aren't fooling anyone except those who want to be fooled. Yeah. So, anyway. Just more shenanigans. More shenanigans going on. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen B. Tony Coriolis.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, yeah, just what you were saying right there with, like, the feds, you know, acting like they're Republicans and stuff. It is so easy to see. Any of them with a mask on, I mean, obviously, Fed. I mean, how can anyone say any different?
Right.
And then, hey, I did want to test out. So, Jaron didn't do his speaker's corner this week, and I was going to go all into the Chinese New Year. Just kind of how I kind of figured it out, and it's kind of simple. So since I'm like a monkey, and then I'm a 92, 4 years away is a friend, and then another 4 years away. So it ends up being, when you look at all the numbers of the years, ends up being there's 2 even teams and there's 2 odd teams, and then your enemy is on the other even team, with it being 6 years away. So it's just kind of easy in your head. Like, if you just kind of juggle the numbers a little bit, you can kind of figure out how old someone is just by figuring out their animal once you get a little good with it.
Mm-hmm.
But still, the whole thing where you are the secret friend of the monkey, you being a snake, that makes no sense with the numbers. But the classic friends and enemies, goes right off the numbers. 4 years away is your enemy, and then 6 years away, or 4 years away is your friend, 6 years away is your enemy.
Mm. So what's the friend of the snake? The monkey?
I actually have it. No, we're the secret friend.
What does that mean?
The,
What does secret friends mean?
They say it's secret friend or soulmate, I've heard, but there isn't really it's not a number thing. Oh, the whole Chinese New Year goes off of numbers, which is kind of why I like it. But the secret friend is just interesting that even if you look it up, it's hard to find who the secret friend is of each animal. And I just know I go off of what I heard on a tinfoil hat. You know that podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had on this guy years ago, way pre-COVID, called Gary the Numbers Guy. He's into geometria. And he was really saying that Chinese New Year played a big part in everything, more so than just your astrological sign. And he definitely mentioned the whole secret friend soulmate relationship. I don't get exactly how they derive that. Maybe it's from that exact Chinese New Year story of the race where they decided the animals. But I have yet to find a full version of that story, anywhere. They kind of hide it along with everything else, you know?
Yeah. Interesting.
But, okay, so you're the snake. So your allies are the ox and the rooster, and then your enemy is the pig.
Enemy. Well, this one's not telling me what the enemy is. Enemy is the pig, huh?
Yeah. So watch out for some pigs, you know. But it is 6 years away. And now I know I went to Waste Management this past year with a guy he was on the show Tinfoil Hat, and I saw him at the live show, so I offered him Waste Management tickets. And we kind of went with, and I just think the guy's really smart and everything. Turns out he's a tiger, you know, he's my enemy. But still, even the guy I work with, he's a tiger. And sometimes we just have little disagreements, and I just kind of write it off as, I don't know, it's just classic tiger monkey beefing, you know, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even right now I'm going to get a coffee at this place called Bikini Beans, and I keep a little Chinese New Year thing in my car. It's fun to just ask the girl what their animal is, you know. They're all into all the astrological signs. I hit them from left field asking their Chinese New Year. There's even one girl here who's a tiger, and I always roll up, "What up, tiger?" And she goes, "Hey, monkey." You know, it's kind of fun.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're saying the pig's the enemy of the snake, so it's the sign that is opposite you in the wheel that opposes you, I guess, in the Chinese astrology.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even when I mentioned it to Jaron, he said, "Oh, okay. So 6 years and then 6 years. Those are your," and I go, "No, it's the exact opposite of the 12. So yes, exactly the opposite of the wheel."
That's interesting. That's kind of the opposite of of Western. I don't know what the other astrology would be called as opposed to Chinese, but the other astrology where you have the zodiac. Usually the opposing sign is the one that you're the most compatible with, as in the polarities, right? As it's opposites attracting. The opposite sign in the wheel is a good match. I did not know that.
So I guess theoretically in that one, 6 months away from, my birthday, that would be my sign that I'd match with?
Yes.
According to them?
That would be a good, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Right, but that's totally different. This is going based off your year, right? It's not really, not the month, but...
Yes. What do you think about years ago when they tried to add a 13th one onto the signs?
I don't know. I still don't really know how that works, and I haven't really looked at it enough to say for sure. It kind of makes sense if you go by the moon cycle giving you the months or the months, then there would be 13 instead of 12, because if the moon is 28-day cycle, 365 divided by 28 or whatever it is, it ends up being 13.
Yeah, and I have looked at what a calendar would look like if it was 13, and they kind of just say the New Year's Day would be a just a free day of the calendar, right? That one would not be included.
Right. There is a like a floater day. It even talks about it in scripture
Yeah.
too, when they talk about the calendar. And
Oh, okay.
so that is a thing. So
It just is weird because, 12 for the astrological and Chinese New Year. And then they tried to say 13. And then I do know that whole thing with there would be 13 months and there are 13 moons,
So 365 divided by 28
it's very
is
interesting as always.
Yeah, it's like 13.03 blah blah. It's not exact. And that's the other thing too. Like whenever we talk about the cycles in nature or even the daily cycles or the monthly cycles, like they're not exact perfectly round numbers. They're these weird sort of just off average numbers because nature is not exact, right? Nature is not, it's not a computer. This is why I really, people say, oh, we live in a simulation, but it's not like that. Like there's too much randomness in nature for it to be a simulation. Natural entropy.
I do not like people that say simulation at all.
Yeah, so when you divide it, you get it's 13, but it's like it's got an extra little bit. So there is like a little bit of floater. There's a floater day or two in there, and it even like I said, it even talks about it in scripture. It's just not it's a regular cycle, but it's not exact. It's not in a perfectly round number,
Mm-hmm. And hey, I did listen to that Marty Leeds Scriptures of the Stars video that you recommended.
Mm-hmm.
I made it all the way through and very, very, very interesting, but no mention of Orion.
Oh, really? I don't remember the whole thing.
So I'm going to have to dig in on them more. Hopefully something comes up. I will definitely let you know if I find anything.
Yeah, you can look around in there. He may have talked about it at some point. I'm pretty sure he has. I really remember him talking about it. May not have been in that one, but I bet it is.
Okay.
It's got to be there somewhere.
Gotcha. Yeah, I will be searching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hey, I'm about to get my coffee. Thank you, Karen B, for taking my call.
All right. Thank you for calling.
All right. Peace out.
Later. Hey, man. Astrology is fun. I like studying the sky and different aspects of it because I really feel like it is one of the very influential things upon us. I mean, the angles of influence, that's what you're measuring when you're measuring the zodiac, right? Like the positions of these bodies. That's why you need to know where you were on the plane and at what time on the plane that you were born. That's why you need that very specific information, because at that moment when you came into the physical world, the physical world is at a certain point, right? Everything, all the motion, all the bodies, all the influences are at a certain setting, maybe, so to speak, when you come into the world. So that's like the click. That's the angles of influence, or the angels' angles of influence from these energies to you specifically at that moment in time. And so that's why, to me, it makes way more sense. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a snake. Ted's a sheep. We get along great. So, he's only 2 years apart. But, yeah. But so the opposites in Chinese are opposing, whereas the opposites in the regular zodiac is complementary. Kind of like the color wheel, right? In the color wheel, they call them complementary colors. 77 is my year, mine too. 88. 88, you're a dragon. Kyle, you're a dragon. My daughter's a dragon. My daughter was born in 2012. She's a dragon. Dragon, and the only reason I know this is because I had a baby that year in a year of the dragon, without really trying. But there was a ton of birds, like in the Asian community, like Chinese people. So like a lot of them tried to have their babies in this year because the year of the dragon is supposed to be like a very auspicious sign to be born under, right? So in fact, let me take a look. I mean, you know, dragon is like all these other animals are animals that we actually are familiar with and see on a regular basis, right? But not the dragon, right? So, dragon, courageous, intelligent, charismatic, and passionate. Compatibility, rat, tiger, snake, or monkey. Earth element, yin or yang, yang. Weakness, impetuous, inflexible, and brash. O dragon, what a creature! This magical and selfless being finished the Jade Emperor's race in 5th place because while flying to the finish line he saw how thirsty the people, animals, and land were. Knowing that he could assuage the suffering of humanity, Dragon stopped and made it rain. Then he noticed Rabbit stuck in the middle of the river on a log and blew her to shore, enabling Rabbit to finish ahead of Dragon. I don't know what that is. For these reasons, Dragon is known to be noble, powerful, generous, and idealistic. Dragons have always been as controlling rain. The Mandarin word for dragon is thought to have come from the sound of thunder. Ancient Chinese considered themselves direct descendants of dragons and believed that their emperors had dragon blood. Huh. Anyway, dragons are courageous, intelligent, charismatic, and passionate. They often marry late in life, and as natural leaders brimming with self-assurance, they don't like deferring to others. They are hard-working and capable of success in all things, honest and direct. Dragons crave to be of use and need to find purpose or goal in life. They don't recognize their own limits and should avoid overworking. Wealth and prestige impress dragons. They can be perfectionist, prone to short bouts of rage, and they can also be impetuous, inflexible, and brash. Dragons must beware of becoming tyrannical. Right? So, and you know, they in that culture, they have a culture for being very driven. You know how it is, right? So, like, to have a child born in the year of the dragon is like a big deal for them. I'm a dragon, Bob was a rat. Nice, Cammy. Cammy's a dragon. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, dragon. Dragon, opposite of dragon is a dog. Yeah, man. So, that's cool. Horse. They have a flying horse in this picture. I don't think they meant a flying horse, though. Just a regular horse. Mark's wearing a towel right now. Are we all still thinking about Mark taking a shower and being all hot and wet? I was born in 82. What does that make me? Cammy says a baby. 82. That makes you a dog. 82 is year of the dog, according to Chinese astrology. So does the Chinese not pay attention to like the month signs or the sun signs? I wonder if, or do everything off the year? I'm not sure how far that goes. That's something I'd have to look into, I guess. Yeah. Here's another chart. You guys can look up your year. Okay? There you go. Boom. All the way back to 1900. So 77, I'm here. Snake. Let's see. And then I think my other son is an ox. Yep. And what else? What's my first son? Look at my first son. He is a ram. I got an ox, a ram, and a dragon for children. How come there's no year of the cat? I don't know. I don't know. There's a tiger. I guess that would represent the cat. There's year of the tiger. Tiger's a cat. There you go. Find your year. No, they break it down to hourly. 13th sign is bogus. What's the 13th sign supposed to be? Let's see. 13th zodiac sign. Ophiuchus? Is that what it's supposed to be? Okay, that sounds familiar. Ophiuchus, all about the 13th astrological sign. Now, I am just randomly clicking off of a search engine here, so I do not claim to think that this is accurate, but I'm investigating, okay? Because I still do want to know about it. So let's find out together, shall we? What's your sign? Well, you may know everything about your sun sign. What if we told you that there was a new zodiac sign? Enter Ophiuchus here. We'll tell you all about the new zodiac sign Ophiuchus, including traits, dates, and Ophiuchus element. And the Ophiuchus element. Get ready. Recently discovered constellation has thrown astrologers for a loop and confused astro enthusiasts about how this might change their sun sign and birth chart. Let us introduce you to Ophiuchus, the new Ophiuchus, the newest zodiac sign. I might be saying that wrong. Ophiuchus. Who knows how to say that? A large constellation on the celestial equator between the constellation of Scorpius and Sagittarius. For that reason, it is considered a potential 13th zodiac sign. Comes from the Greek word ophiuchos, which translates to serpent bearer. That may be the reason the sign is represented as a man or a woman grasping a snake. How do you say Ophiuchus? Ophiuchus. Oh, here we go. Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus states. Thank you for saying that. It would have been helpful to have that in the beginning. If you were born between November 29th and December 17th, that's you, Sagittarius, you may have a completely new zodiac sign with new traits and elements to explore. Ophiuchus is unique in many ways, but one difference is that it has a much shorter sun cycle than the other 12 zodiac signs. While it takes the sun 30 days to move through one zodiac sign, it only takes the sun 18 days to move through Ophiuchus, blah, blah, blah. So that's like between, yeah, I guess that's part of Sagittarius and then, not quite Capricorn, I guess. Capricorn doesn't start till the 20th. While this can come as quite a shock to Sagittarius natives, don't think you're out of the woods just yet. If the 13th zodiac sign is added to the wheel, all signs would have new dates, meaning many sun signs would change. Check down below to see what your new sun sign might be. So this puts me as an Aries instead of a Taurus. Ophiuchus, huh? While the other signs are based on mythological characters and figures, Ophiuchus is named after a real person. According to International Business Times, Ophiuchus is named after Imhotep, an Egyptian chancellor of the pharaoh Djoser, and the high priest of the Ra, the sun god. While little is known about Imhotep's actual life, he is often equated to Asclepius, the Greek god of medicine. The rod of Asclepius, a snake-entwined staff, remains a symbol of medicine today. Is Ophiuchus a real zodiac sign? Hold up. So, is it real? Public knowledge of Ophiuchus comes from a 2016 article from NASA, claims that the true zodiac wheel... Okay, so it is from NASA. Because I had found some stuff before that said that it was from NASA. And I was like, well, if it's from NASA, then it's got to be bullshit, right? You're such a Taurus, no way you're Aries. Don't forget the element parts. I'm under earth sign, boar. My sister is water, dragon. Late husband was metal, ox. Oh, very interesting. Hey, thank you for the tip, James Ritchie. When it came out, it was all over Legacy Media. You should tell you something. I feel like if it's from NASA, it's probably garbage. Yeah, so they're throwing the Egyptian sun god Ra into this, and then it's NASA. So, not 12 because there's another major constellation between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So, it's not like Ophiuchus just magically showed up in the sky one day, though it may feel like it did. Ancient astrologers may have overlooked Ophiuchus for various reasons, now lost to the ages. Whatever the reason, Ophiuchus is an old constellation that is new to us. Well, I don't know that they would make... It doesn't make sense that a constellation would just be lost to the ages, because for so long, like epochs, all these people did was watch the sky, because that was all there was to watch. There was no TV, there was no radio, there was no internet, there was no radio waves, you know, nothing being broadcast, no spells being broadcast across the land to keep you distracted. So, you know, all they did was watch the sky, and they kept copious notes. They're called canons and ephemerises, right? And they are extremely detailed, and they outline the entire eclipse cycle. That's how long that they took notes. So it doesn't make any sense to me at all that through the course of the eons where they were originally mapping the sky and taking note of all the cycles in the sky, that they would just overlook, leave out, delete a major constellation in the equatorial stars. It just doesn't make sense. You're talking about the major equatorial constellations that are always visible from the most populated part of the plane. They use that the most for navigation. It's like the North Star and these equatorial stars. Like, I just don't believe that it was lost, or like that just doesn't make sense. Right? And NASA had the serpent tongue, right? Exactly. They didn't use the 13 nor the 13 division. Those are Roman. Yeah. Hail, Ben. Good to see you. First stage of Scorpion. The Scorpion, the first stage of transformation, represents our baser emotions, the darker emotions that we embrace. Second stage is the eagle. Third stage is the phoenix. Yeah. Divided the year by 8, not 12. Yeah. So I'm going to click on this link right here where it says a 2016 article from NASA. Is this... So here, Ophiuchus is here, looking like supposedly like a person holding a snake, and then Sagittarius. "88 officially recognized constellations." So they throw this Ophiuchus constellation in here when they're talking about the constellations in the sky. And they don't even mention it. They just put it on there. That's weird. Like, the name Ophiuchus is not even mentioned in this article. But they put it in that stupid picture. How weird is that? I think that's weird. Large constellation straddling the celestial equator. Its names come from the ancient Greek, meaning serpent bearer, and is commonly represented as a man grasping a snake. Da da da. So this is supposedly as it can be seen by the naked eye. Kind of garbage constellation. $1825. Ophiuchus holding the serpents as depicted in Urania's Mirror, a set of constellation cards published in London. Above the tail of the serpent is now the obsolete constellation Taurus Poniatovi, while below it is Scutum. Antares. This is weird. I don't know about all that. How does this discovery happen? Can you really just make a new zodiac sign and that's totally fair? To be clear, even though this constellation is technically between Scorpio and Sagittarius, astrologers do not consider it as part of the zodiac wheel. That's right, disregard. Ophiuchus is not a real zodiac sign in the eyes of astrologers. For argument's sake, what would Ophiuchus traits be like if it were a real zodiac sign? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't even want to read speculation about something that's not even real. So is Ophiuchus real? Blah, blah, blah. No. No, because it's from NASA. I guess. Just curious what other things say about it. Latin serpent bearer, constellation about 17 hours right descension on the celestial equator. In declination, its brightest star is Rosselhog. From the Arabic for the head of the serpent collector. Is it even mentioned here? Let's see if this... Oh, here. Ophiuchus. Down here. weird. I mean, there's other constellations too. They don't try to make those signs. Aquila. What is that? Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Where's... seems to be... Ah, here we go. Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo. Oh, it's like out here on the outskirts. So like, look at this. Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, right? Like it's like over here. And it's only got one little piece like in between Sagittarius and Scorpio. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that the 13th sign is BS. The snake bearer. Like, and even like the symbology of that, right? Like, come on, get out of here with your snaky shit. Says the person who's born in the year of the snake. They definitely work to change the start of the day. If a person is going to use it, it should be the end of the year, though. The thing I do like about the 13th is that it would be the biome developed in alchemy. Well, I guess you'd have to explain that part to me, because I don't get that part. So many Scorpios in this community. I guess the Scorpio trait of interested in the occult was true. Ted's a Scorpio. Oh, look, Ted. Ted's in chat. Hey, Ted. Yes, he's definitely a Scorpio. Which I love, by the way. I love that. Start of the day is now in the middle of the night, midnight. That's funny. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, this is Dennis. How's it going?
Hi, Dennis. Good. How are you?
All right. I had a long night because I had to. I got to reassign another truck that hadn't been used in months, and I had to wait for this lengthy inspection. But I'm actually still on the road on the way home. But I called in. I heard you talking about China and Chinese calendar. So I guess the main question that came to mind when you talk about this Chinese astrology, like the year of the tiger and so forth, and what year people are born, is that something associated with the Confucianism? Does that come primarily from Confucianism, or maybe Buddhism, or both? My guess would be right off the bat that it would be probably associated with Confucianism, and Buddhism. I'm not knowledgeable enough about it to know, but if the less likely, perhaps from Buddhism. I don't know. Would you have a clue about that?
No. I don't know. Unfortunately.
I do know. Yeah, I've looked into Chinese history a bit, including the ancient history. I do know that Confucianism is much more ancient in China. It goes back much further than Buddhism. Buddhism's been there a while too, but Buddhism came from India. Buddha was around 500 BC, and I'm not deeply knowledgeable, but I do know some corruptions in the Hindu system. I just know that in a general way. He had fighting corruptions within the Hindu system, and it didn't spread to China in a big way until the Muslims came along, like over 1,000 years later. And the Muslims, I don't know, this is just a generalization, but they pushed the Buddhists. The Buddhists didn't survive the Muslim persecution in India, but the Hindus stuck it out. But Buddhism became a heavy presence, and eventually it became nativist in China. And I guess you might say Taoism and Confucianism are the two ancient things in China. And I guess they're kind of like three mountains amidst the Buddhists, the Confucians, and the Taoists amid Chinese society. But I'm not a follower of Buddhism. I just know from recently, because I got a history of India too. There was I don't mean to get off the subject. I would just, as far as the reputation of Hinduism, I came across Ambedkar, a 20th century figure who was not very well heard of and underrated in the West, but he was like Gandhi's major nemesis. He was a lawyer that wrote the Constitution of independent India, but he was Gandhi and biggest Nehru. He was Gandhi's biggest critic, and he wrote a book called he had some views very much, I think, in common, or a lot of political objectives similar to the communists. He was against a lot of the same things, but unlike them, he was not an atheist. At the year that he died, he fulfilled a long-standing promise of converting from Hinduism to Buddhism, but he wrote a book that's very knowledgeable, heavy critique and denunciation of Hinduism, I think called Riddle of Hinduism, but he doesn't promote Buddhism in it, which makes it useful because he doesn't come across as having an agenda in that book. So it makes it useful to a wide variety of people, including Christians, atheists, Buddhists, Muslims, even maybe a Hindu who's willing to hear the other side. But anyway, I'm not too particularly big, honestly, on Hinduism myself, but that book by the Buddhists. Anyway, I don't, maybe Buddhism is Buddhist or into astrology. I don't know. I'm not very knowledgeable, but I feel confident that the Confucianism does have some connection, or some likely some. My interest in Confucianism, they've got the traditional books which tell the most ancient history of China, which is, that's another subject, but that's got useful information. But I don't just, as far as the astronomical history, I think that you were talking about, like with actual purely scientific astronomical observations, it does the Confucius history, it does get into that somewhat. But anyway, I was just wondering about that detail with the Confucians or Buddhists, but I'm guessing without any research specifically that it's probably primarily a Confucianist thing. I would probably, I'm backing a truck in right now, but there's no traffic, so I'm able to multitask. I'm ending my day. Anyway, I think that's primarily a Confucianist thing. Anyway, forgive me. That's all I got. Just that thought. But I know you see it in the Chinese restaurants or people that when interest. But the last thing, that's perhaps because I personally I mean, I don't agree with that stuff. That's not my belief. I mean, I'm not going to hit you over the head with it like Greg Whisker or what have you. But yeah, I find the history of it interesting. So that's probably one point where I would agree with the communists. I mean, on a spiritual matter, as far as their rejection of that, and maybe the Buddhists. I'm just not knowledgeable enough about it. Yeah, but that's all I got. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dennis. Yeah, I'm not really sure about the influences there, but you know, it's probably it's an ancient Chinese secret. How about that? My Mercury was stuck in retrograde. Mercury went direct today, I believe. Let's see. Now. That's not Mercury. Which one's Mercury? Mercury is, I believe, direct now. Mercury's in Taurus. Time to pursue traditional knowledge, learn from your elders and otherwise counsel, make solid plans, sign contracts. All right. The planet of communications is currently traveling through the sector of your horoscope connected with profession and life direction. This is your public life, not your private life. Therefore, it is a time when you may be judging life decisions, considering a change of direction. You could benefit from seeking professional advice. On the other hand, you could be moving into a role that requires you to advise other people. Your connections with others are important right now as they influence your decisions, help create new opportunities. Powers of concentration are heightened during this transit. Conjunct the North Node. So yeah, here's Mercury. It's like right next to the North Node. So what does that mean? The nodes are a sensitive point in the astrology chart, and therefore transits are likely to indicate something significant when they occur. In this case, the North Node signifies a positive new feature in your life, perhaps even a new chapter. Destiny plays its hand in communication and contracts right now. You may receive news of a new development, project, or move that brings positive changes to your life. Absolutely, baby, bring it. Someone young and agile may cross your path. For a few days, you may have new insights into your purpose. This is an ideal time to ask yourself, where is my true north? Then look for the symbols that have significance for you. The signposts are often right in front of us, but we are too busy to stop and look. Synchronicity is significant for you during this brief period. And it's opposite the South Node. So being next to the North Node and then opposite the South Node, so then it's got a strong influence from the South Node too, from the North Node and the South Node for Mercury. So it's saying, where is my true north? Where is your true north, my friends? And what does that mean when it's asking you, where is your true north? So is that saying, what is your direction in life? What is your focus, right? Because true north, what does that mean? It's not saying, where is my magnetic north? Where is my true north, right? Calgon, take me away. Hello, Rose. Moral compass. That's an interesting idea there, Ben. That's probably pretty good. But I mean, as far as like communication, I guess if it's a Mercury, Square the ascendant orb. Strong influence. Decisions, decisions, decisions. If you are going through a major transition in your life, then this Mercury transit could be a trigger for a major decision. Otherwise, you are likely to experience an increase in communications. Phone calls, texts, emails, letters, bills, etc. Interviews can also feature during an astrological event such as this. You may also decide to have a makeover, something that helps you feel more youthful. Spur of the moment decisions are not unusual. It is a busy day indeed. Luckily, you are well able to juggle right now. Just make sure that you keep all of the balls in the air temporarily and then rest in a few days' time. Busy is good, burnout is not. That's what I'm saying. Busy is good, burnout is not. You really gotta watch that burnout. You really gotta watch it. Been a lot of moral compass communication lately. I guess that's true. Yeah. Good day, good day, good day. Wish I could figure out how to read those things. What, you mean? Well, that's why I bought this app, man. Because I'm learning about astrology. And actually, having this app has helped me learn quite a bit. I will say. It has. Mars. What are the aspects of Mars right now? The desire to escape is strong. Boy, you don't even know. That's pretty interesting stuff. So, yeah, remember not that long ago, almost everything was in retrograde at the same time. Pluto's still in retrograde. That's one of the slower moving things, but I think most everything else went direct. Yeah, everything else went back to direct. But there for a while, everything was in retrograde. Everything. So now most things are back to direct. Except for, like I said, Pluto. Pluto's a weird planet, though. Or is it even considered a planet still? Pluto is the slowest moving planet in the solar system, taking 248 years. Pluto is currently in Aquarius. Square Jupiter. So where's Jupiter? Right here. Okay, yeah, so it is square Jupiter. During this time, you'll find it difficult to achieve your goals. It may be that you lack the confidence or the energy needed to help you achieve your aims, or perhaps others will stand in your way. You should be wary of anyone appearing in the guise of guru or priest, particularly of an established church. You would also be wise to avoid legal battles during this transit, as they could prove very difficult under the influence of this energy. Yeah. Globe model is mathematically deduced from Great Pyramid, as is GPS positioning, and there isn't any public positioning system as exact than 4,500 year for 500 old dilemma. 4,500 old dilemma. I don't know what that means. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what do you think about dreamism?
About what?
Dreamism. I actually put a link to it in your Rumble chat.
Dreamism?
Yeah.
What is dreamism? Your name is what is dreamism. So what is
Yeah, I'm
that?
just asking for your opinion on it. Like, if you go to the link, you'll be able to see it, but it kind of falls into line with everything that you're talking about right now.
What do you mean? Like with astrology?
Just like, yeah, exactly, and just kind of intention, shaping reality, that sort of thing.
Okay. Well, I don't know what it is because I've never heard of it till now, so I don't have an
Gotcha.
opinion.
Maybe I'll call back another day after you've had time to read it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Bye. Why are you ignoring me? I wasn't ignoring you. I just wasn't looking in Rumble chat because nobody's really chats in there. You know, it's still a very small following over there. Most of the chat is on YouTube. Anyway. Nice job on, going ahead and trying to promote yourself. What did you just write to me about robes? Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's so funny, huh? Watch out for gurus. So they had GPS 4,500 years ago? What? No. I don't understand. I don't understand what you're talking about. You're gonna have to be more clear. You can call in Mark Static and try to explain what you're talking about. Though, That's funny, Cammy. Now that you're right. You're right. That's so funny. Ha! See, that's the type of stuff though that like when I look at through astrology and then like I'll be like, "Oh, that happened. That is happening right now." Certain energies and certain things are happening right now. It's funny. Very good. Thanks for pointing that out. The guru thing is fucking strong recently. Exactly. It's kind of like weird. And these people, and they come with their fancy word salad, right? Saying all these things that they don't even really, I don't even know if they know what it means. They're not using it correctly, applying properties to certain elements that these elements don't have. And then, looking all mystical and magical, put on your fancy robe and say your fancy words. And then everybody goes, ooh, ah. Yeah, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Like, Mother Nature is simple. It can be, you can understand the realm and you can explain it using very simple terms once you understand it. If you don't understand it, you're going to start using all these, weird, multi-syllabic, school words, high dollar words, right? To try to describe something, and then everybody gets all mesmerized because they're like, oh, what does that word mean? That word sounds fancy and important and like it tells me the secrets of the universe. But they're just dazzling you with bullshit. So, it's true. Zach scores points for guessing right. What do you mean? What did he guess? Did I miss it? My only guru makes conspiracy music. You're the real guru, Karen. No, I'm not a guru. Don't follow me. I'm lost too. Okay. Don't follow me. I'm lost too. Yeah, but you know, you don't have to, like, you don't need that weird, mysterious, like, it doesn't have to be mysterious. It really doesn't. You know, that's kind of how we got fooled into believing lies in the first place, right? With their words, their fancy words, with their made up meanings. That's how we got fooled in the first place, right? Robes. Oh. Yeah. I just think it's funny, man. I think it's funny. You know, change your name to some weird name. I just, you know, why do people feel the need for theatrics? Why? Because I think it gets them attention. You know, people love attention, and they will say and do all kinds of silly shit to get that attention. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that sort of mindset, especially if you've become aware of the deceptions in the world to then turn around and like have your own deceptions going on. I mean, not that they're like from the same place or bad or anything, but it's like you're just people are so happy to go from one fantasy to another, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't want to believe in a fantasy story anymore. I want to understand this magical realm, because it is a magical place that we live in. Reality is magical. Reality is amazing. And that's what I want to know. I want to understand the real part of this realm. I want to understand the unseen forces. You know, I want to understand how this place really works. And I don't want to get, you know, distracted with somebody in their fucking fantasy worlds, you know, when I know some of the stuff they're saying doesn't make sense in reality. Like, I don't want to name and shame, you know, it's not what I'm about, but so I'm trying to dance around it. But, you know, that stuff is just silly to me. These nuts are magical. My nuts are magical. They're unseen forces. But it's not complicated. Urban Dictionary, dreamism is a serious mental disorder. Is that what it says? Ha! Guru is teacher. I have many teachers. Regular folks are teachers. Yeah. Everybody, yeah, I would say everybody could be a teacher, because we all learn from each other, right? Nobody holds all the knowledge. Nobody knows everything. I'm no exception. So, you know, but the thing is though, like, it boggles my mind how people are so quick to just go off on these tangents without examining how that works in reality. How would that work in reality? And it's like with these trees, this is one thing that really bugs me. It's like people saying that there's all these petrified giant trees, and they keep sharing that one dude's video where he goes around and he tells you that quartz is sap and that mica is wood. No! Like, you can't just pick something up and see visual similarities and then assign, you know, something to that thing just because you decided it looks that way. That's not how it works. We already know that petrified or fossilized sap becomes amber, and it's a different, completely different material than quartz. Okay, if those were petrified trees, the quartz is just like embedded in it somehow. It's like when we saw that tree. There's that tree at Diamond Hill Mine that has the big chunk of quartz inside of it. You know, all of us were thinking that the quartz grew there in the tree after the tree was living there. I don't know that that's true or not. But it could have also just, like Ben said, it could have just picked it up as it was growing, and the crystal could have just been stuck inside the tree. And then, you know, as the tree grew, it became exposed and is like there to look at. I don't know. You know, we don't know how these things form, but I know that quartz isn't sap. I know that. You know, there's certain things that we do know. We know that quartz is a highly organized crystal lattice structure material, and amber is not. You know, mica, those little thin sheets of mica. Do I have any right here? I've got a ton of it out on my porch. You know, the guy picks that up and he tries to tell you that mica is wood. No, it freaking isn't. And mica does grow alongside quartz quite often, but that doesn't, you know, that doesn't make it from a tree. They are melted, petrified trees. You wouldn't understand it. That's why you're not getting melted earth. Right? So you can't just look at pictures and like they're telling, you know, you can't just show me a picture and be like, look at the picture, it's obvious. No, it isn't obvious to me because I understand that these things can be formed in different ways, in multiple ways. And I understand that in order to petrify a tree or fossilize a tree, it has to be completely buried in mud, ash, slurry, and be completely robbed of all exposure to oxygen, so that the tree material can be replaced by crystalline material or be opalized or whatever. And quartz is not freaking sap. You know, like people are just trying to make it, you guys, it's like they're saying things mystically change properties and form somehow, and that's just not the case. That's the same problem with the whole melted brick theory. You can't just claim that things magically through some unknown process change from one thing into another that are completely unrelated and then say that that's proof that there were giant trees. Like it's just dumb. You know, and people they keep sharing it like it's true. Oh, look, it's so amazing. Look, it's true. No, it's not necessarily fucking true. Like, that's the thing. Like, I keep trying to hammer this home because everything in this realm is subject to the properties of this realm, right? Or how things work, right? There's rules here. Certain materials exhibit properties, others don't. Some things form in a highly organized structure, others don't. Others are amorphous. It also depends on temperature, right? The temperature, the saturation, you know, there's just so many different, there's so many different variables that sort of dictate how this stuff works. And here's the other thing. The natural entropy of this realm, like the never-ending combination of different materials that can be found, because you think about all the materials in the periodic table of elements or whatever, everything that we know that can be broken down to its like single most simple form, right? There's dozens of them, and then think about all the different combinations that you can have. It's like the number is huge, right? And these different combinations and these different environments or different, settings are going to create all sorts of anomalous growths, land features, things that you never would have imagined because of this natural entropy and all of the different things that are already here. But they're all still subject to the same properties, right? That's why these things look similar. That's why they have similar looks, because they all are of the same realm. It's like when you go into, and this is where like I think this is why people maybe think we live in a simulation, because this is the analogy that I can think of. It's like imagine if you're playing a video game and you go into the video game world. Like say you're in World of Warcraft. The World of Warcraft looks a certain way. It has certain things happen in this world because that's how it was set up. Now, if you go into like Super Mario Brothers world, it's a different world. Everything looks different. Everything has a different style. Everything follows different rules. Different things have to, you know what I mean? Because that's a different world. So, but inside that world, everything is subject to those rules. That's like how it is here. That's how I imagine it here, right? Everything here is still subject to those rules, to the golden ratio, to electromagnetism, to pressure and temperature differentials, right? All these things have different effects on these different elements, and it creates the natural entropy of this realm, and then creates the natural beauty, the world, the different structures and things that are built, that form here. The earth is alive. The earth is literally alive. The rocks literally grow. Crystals grow in a slurry. There's a couple different ways things can form, but that's just what happens. And if you think that you're going to know everything, well, you're not. You don't know everything. There's always, that's what's so great, like about Flat Earth once you get into it, because you realize that there is still so much to learn here. There's still so much to discover and wonder about, where, the globalists give you all the answers and they completely deprive you of that sense of wonderment, that sense of discovery, that sense of awe, which actually is very plentiful here in this realm if you pay attention, and you let Earth and the realm tell you the story, instead of, in your mind imposing these human sort of, you're imposing what you imagine in your mind on the realm. You need to let it go the other way. Let the realm tell you. But, you're looking at something and you're like, it looks like a tree. It must be a tree. It's a giant tree. But remember, all this stuff was planted in your psyche by No Forest on Flat Earth very early on. Like, that video came out years ago, like very early on. And it sort of implanted that sort of image in people's psyche, and people jumped on it right away. I didn't like that video from the very beginning. It seemed like a bunch of weird, fantastical hooey to me. I'm not against there ever having been giant trees. I just am not going to believe it just because this one rock looks like a tree. Because rocks look like all kinds of shit. You can find pareidolia is a thing, right? You are trained to recognize similar shapes and features in things, right? So you can recognize a living being from an inanimate object, but you still know it's inanimate, right? The rock looks like XYZ, but you still know it's just a rock, right? Like that's how it is. Everything comes from water. Recipes, ingredients, yeah. Sap is the fluid, chaotic side, not the salt side. What does that mean? And what I'm talking about? All the ambers I've dealt with have been really real. Yeah, but amber's not quartz. That's my point. You started with Twitter again? Oh my god. Twitter. I was liking Twitter for a minute. Twitter got super fun after Elon bought it, and then everybody started, they stopped banning people and people were getting their accounts back and blah, blah, blah. And then you could say whatever you wanted again. And it's fun for a minute. And then he goes and he hires a WEF stooge to be CEO. Like, Come on. And she's got videos of her pushing the mask and the vax bullshit during the whole pandemic. That's a great way to shit on the party, right? Fractal is not the same as simulation in reality. Right. So, oh, here we go. The petrified trees were formed before God Yahweh last earth age. Everything was underwater before he separated the waters. But we don't have any story about that's how the scripture starts, right? There was a formless deep. So that's an assumption. The whole thing with the petrified trees, this like saying the Colorado mountains are giant petrified trees and the quartz is sap, like that like the whole series of assumptions that has to happen before you get there alone makes it sound like bullshit. First of all, you're assuming that there were giant trees. You're assuming, okay? You're assuming that the quartz mass that you see inside of your assumed giant trees is sap, which is a wrong assumption. That one I know is wrong, okay? You're assuming, and then you're assuming that there was any sort of trees that even existed before this age or this iteration of Earth or this universe. We don't know that because it starts from the formless deep. You're just making assumptions, which is fine. You know, if you want to hypothesize, theorize, imagine, you know, or make assumptions about that stuff, have fun. But just know it's not reality. It's not proven. There's really, you know, there's no basis to believe that as 100% fact as things sit right now. Yeah, you can watch crystals grow. Most of these crystals, like, you know, when I find them in the water, in the creeks in the water, that's why I think the East Coast is like so mineral rich. It's actually because, I mean, think about it. This whole side is high humidity, gets tons of rain. There's a lot of annual rainfall here. And so it's constantly giving those good conditions for crystals to form, right? For these things to form. It's always giving the earth a very good saturation. And then all of those mineral molecules get loosened up and they're in that slurry activated by the water, which water is a liquid crystal, by the way, because when water freezes, it does meet all of the technical requirements, you know, scientifically to be considered an actual crystal, right? Snowflakes are crystals. Ice is a crystal. So water to me is like the mother. How I imagine it is water is like the mother element there for forming all crystals, right? Like it's the catalyst. It's the main ingredient, and then that's how I imagine it anyway. So then if you have water and you mix it with a bunch of like silicate mineral, right, which is what quartz is, then you can have this slurry that's activated, right? And then the crystal, the silicate material then has the means to move and to coagulate and then to start forming its organized crystal lattice structure and then become a hardened crystal, right? So there has to be a very specific set of circumstances for these things to form. It doesn't just happen like laying on the ground, right? There has to be the slurry, the very specific set of circumstances. Water is a liquid crystal. It's true. I mean, think about this. Okay. You know that chick? Let me go to... Do you guys follow this lady? She does really cool stuff. Let me see if I can find her. Here, this chick, the Veda Austin Water, right? She calls what she does crystallography, right? Because water is in its crystalline form. It's hardened crystalline form, and then she takes pictures of it. It's crystallography. And it does very interesting things. I mean, she really does a lot to show you the intelligence of water, the programmableness of water. Water responds to telepathy. I mean, that's just the end of the story. Water responds to telepathy. It responds to your intent, your thoughts, your feelings. I mean, look, I think it's just interesting. Like here, the different things. She'll show you what the influence was, and then what the water showed you, right? Between wings and certain shells. I like how water often designs wings to look like a mix of both of them as it freezes. So here you see this wing form. It seems to imprint the picture. Like she'll put it on top of a picture and then flash freeze it. And let's see. Look at that. So you put it over an eye and then flash freeze it, and then you have an image that looks like an eye. It's stuff like this that happens all the time. She does it repeatedly. Here's a bird. You can see the bird in the ice. Isn't that amazing? The birds. I see birds more than any other creature designed in ice. Several of these examples are from other people using my freezing technique, and the rest are mine. So even from multiple people, you can get bird images. I mean, it's just really fascinating. Water. It is the water, She is interesting. Yeah. If you like baking a cake. Yeah. So if you are interested, I would go check out Vita Austin Water. She has a bunch of great posts where she explains, like here, look at this one. This is great. You see the anatomical heart. She says, this ice photo is really interesting. A lady emailed it to me yesterday. She said her midwife had come to visit to do a checkup on her and her baby, and she got to listen to its heartbeat. Afterwards, she was inspired to write my baby's heartbeat on a piece of paper, placed her petri dish of water on top of it for 30 seconds, removed and froze using my technique. She outlined the fetus in the image on the second page. She shared a picture of a human heart for comparison. It's as if the water created both the heart and the baby. Very cool. So, stuff like that, man. It's fascinating. Look at here. Here's a little heart in the ice. See if I can find some others that are really cool. Here you go. Bird. Here we go. Here's one. There's a cross. She puts the cross in the water and then freezes it. Boom. Cross shows up in the crystallography. Just very fascinating to look at and think about water with these different shapes. So that just goes to show you. So if you have water and then you mix it with these different elements that have a sort of a program inside of them, right? They're designed to work a certain way, and then they get activated with water, and then the water helps them form. It's like, just the way that nature works to me, I just feel like it's like so simple and so elegant and so magical. Like, I just don't see the need for there to have been giant this and giant that, and, you know, not that it never happened, but, you know, I just feel like there's no need to put extra stuff in there. That's just my opinion. Freezing experiments. Yeah. Hey, Mark. Mark's back. I guess you're done washing yourself. Are you clean? Are you clean? Are you still wet? That's so funny. Thanks for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hi, Karen.
Hey, what's going on, Ben?
So, when I had said that earlier, this is why when you're looking at it from an alchemist point of view, absolutely things on the mercurial side can crystallize and freeze. Like, you see me take plant material, and I'll take the oil from a plant and make it into hard crystals you can literally pick up with your hand, just like salt.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the salt side. The difference is then the salt side, if I put heat, when I put heat to it, the salt side comes together and becomes more hard. It actually crystallizes. That's how you get the mercurial element out of the slurry. As that leaves, then the crystal comes together. The heat doesn't bother that side. On the other side, the mercurial side, your liquid crystal, heat makes that vaporize. So that will melt, vaporize. As soon as you take my the plant material crystals that I make, the oil ones, as soon as you put them to heat, they vaporize and you can air right off. On the salt side, that doesn't. And that's, so sap is from the mercurial side of things. That's not the salt side of the tree. Like when you burn the tree down, then the potassium inside the tree is the salt side of the tree, or what we would normally think of as crystal, rather than the liquid side, which is the sap. And yeah, sap will harden, and but if you take and you throw heat to normal sap, it just vaporizes, lights on fire real nice, actually.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever use that wood. So that's the big difference when you're looking at the two different sides. The thing that doesn't crystallize then is the sulfur side. And so half the mercurial will crystallize, because half of it's on the salt side, so it's able to structure. And the mercurial element, like when you're talking about the water's acting as a receiver. And so that's why it's useful to freeze it like that. If you look at Emoto's work, when he went around and first did that, he went around and checked things from all these different areas. And then he'd flash freeze them and check the crystallization on them. Well, when he wanted to start putting his own input into it, he would distill the water and take out the memory of the water, and then it would be able to pick up things because the water wasn't storing memory from other things. So what the water's doing is acting as a receiver, the mercury, and then that's passing it into the salts inside of the water. And that's where the memory is being picked up. So the water itself is just kind of the middle ground. It can do either or. It's the mercury.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So that's what I meant when I said that.
Okay.
The salt side is quartz's salt side. So it's entirely different when you look at it from an alchemist perspective. They both will crystallize, but it's two different sides, two different reactions to heat, things like that.
Right. Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Thank you for calling and explaining.
All right,
that.
Karen. You bet.
All right.
Have an excellent day.
Okay, you
we
too.
love you.
Love you too. Yeah, so there you go. Even from the alchemy point of view, it doesn't make sense that the quartz would be the sap of a giant tree. So, yeah. So, not that there isn't something to be discovered or gleaned from looking at these things. Like, I don't necessarily believe everything about mainstream geology, right? Like, they got a lot of things wrong. But we can't dismiss it all. It's not wise to dismiss all of that because some of it works, you know. It's a tedious process. It's a painful process to build it back up again. But we're going to have to do it, right? We're going to have to do it because that's what's up. It's all about learning, growing, becoming enlightened, you know? We could do it. Water acting like an antenna. Yeah. Like you said, like a receiver. Because it does. It responds to your intent. It responds to that energy. It responds to the etheric energy. You know, water is almost like, and I know it's not, this is probably a totally wrong way to look at it, but water, sometimes I just can't help but think of it as like liquid ether. You know what I'm saying? Like there's gas ether and then there's liquid ether, if that makes sense. And there might even be solid ether. That might even be what is protecting us, you know, on the outer edges of this realm. Who knows? It's something to think about. But it's, you know, it's magical, right? So like you can take water and you can split the hydrogen and the oxygen apart, right, to make hydrogen or oxygen, but you can't take hydrogen and oxygen and put them together and make water. At least I haven't seen anybody do that yet. So water is really like a magical substance. It really is. It receives the etheric signals and passes them into soluble crystal. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it is. I am thinking about it the right way then. You're kind of confirming it for me, I think. It's like the catalyst, right? It's what makes it go. It's what makes it possible, what makes it work. You know? It's like the gas of the natural world, if that makes sense. Right? Like the gas makes your car go, the water makes the world go, it makes the things grow, it makes the crystals grow. It makes things happen. It makes life happen. Not all on its own, obviously, sunlight too, but it's just interesting. Water is the only thing, what? Water is the only thing not in the creation story. Well, how is that true? Yes, it is, because it says he separates the water from the waters. And there's a formless deep. I mean, it doesn't really say exactly what that deep is consisting of, but I picture it as a big, giant, super saturated crystal slurry, like a mud, like sludge. That's what I picture it like a dark, goopy of everything. All in there, all mixed together. And then once it becomes, you know, animated, or the spark is put to it, the life begins, right? The action starts happening. Something's making that action happen. It's Mercury of the carbon plane. Yeah. So now there could be, I think that like all the petrified trees and stuff that we do know of, like a lot of these structures, these things that have happened, did happen. Just my opinion, could have happened during the Great Flood, if you can accept that there was a worldwide flood over the entire plane at some point, which a lot of cultures talk about. So I think it's generally accepted. I mean, if you don't accept that there was a worldwide flood, that's a whole nother sort of discussion. But if you accept that there was a worldwide flood that happened after the initial creation of this place, where things were wiped out, well, that totally makes sense as to where all these fossilized, crystallized, weird, sort of obscure phenomena come from, right? Because if you read that the story of the flood, the world was underwater for a significant amount of time. And we also know that crystals and everything form much faster than they would like us to believe. Like, they want you to believe that, you know, any crystal that you find, like this piece of selenite formed millions of years ago, you know, or this piece of quartz formed billions of years ago, right? They want you to believe that. But that's not necessarily true. You can watch crystals grow. So they probably all grow at different rates, but in general, it seems to happen a lot faster than they would like you to believe. Like, they stretch the timeline out, right? To like put in their evolutionary bullshit. But if you, you know, condense it, then everything has to get condensed. If the world is younger than they tell you it is, and we haven't been here for billions of years, well, then everything sort of happens on a much faster scale, including, you know, crystals growing, crystallization of crystallization of organic matter that was buried in the flood. So what would have happened is, like, all those things that weren't able to escape the flood would then become covered in the water. And we're talking about worldwide, I mean, just another sort of slurry, and with the pressure changes, and I imagine it being a very violent thing too, of volcanoes spewing ash, right, which is going to spew more ash, more silica into the realm, and then into the water, and therefore, you know, providing the perfect sort of scenario for any of these larger trees or old trees that were alive at that time to then be buried and be completely void of any oxygen, exposure to oxygen, and then have the material replaced by silicate, opalized, whatever. Metals form in milliseconds. Yeah. Humans are mostly made up of water. We antennas, and I try to adjust a radio antenna and touch it. The signal is clear. When I let go, it gets static again. That's so funny, Billing. Yeah. Yeah. And I think the crystals and precious metals get bigger and bigger the deeper you go. Well, yeah, you got to dig deep to find the big crystals, because if you think about it, if you think about the supersaturated slurry, right, and we're on a level plane, there is a decided up and down. And, you know, you have that initial seed crystal, maybe it was in the center, who knows where it was placed, or who knows, you know, this is all speculation as far as what the creator did to ignite the creation of this realm, right? So you have those seed crystals, and initially, yeah, those big crystals are going to form, boom, right off the bat, and then it's just going to be a chain reaction from there. Then, you know, and it talks about how the land sort of comes out of the water, out of the deep, right? It's that crystallization material congealing and then growing and building to form the solid land, right? So I would imagine that deep under the continents or in the center, you know, that there is massive crystals somewhere. And in fact, and I think crystals actually are what powers this whole place. Like, it's a store of energy, some type of crystal, maybe quartz. Quartz is the most plentiful, right, mineral on the realm. So then if you have all of these, you know, one thing, like, if you guys got to go watch, I don't want to play it because I'll get a strike. It's all copyrighted videos and stuff, but it's too long to watch it all here anyway. But you guys got to go watch on YouTube, like, these people who go spelunking in these caves. There's like this channel, I think it's called the Adventure Brothers. Let me see if I could find it, because you guys watch where these guys go. They find these crazy caverns. They go in like a tiny hole in the ground, and then before you know it, they're inside giant crystalline cavernous caves that probably only a handful of people have ever seen. Adventure Brothers. Let me see if I can find it. Well, let me look another way. Anyway, giant crystal caves, right? So here we go. Action Adventure Twins. This is the channel. So these guys, they're like these two skinny dudes who are rock climbers, and they go into these gnarly places. I mean, look at this thumb here. Look at his feet under there. I mean, they go in places where I'm like, boy, you won't catch me going in that. But But they find these giant crystalline caves. I mean, deep under the ground, there are giant crystal formations that you can't even fathom. Okay? That's real. You know? Like when they talk about like the Sheol and the great pillars, there could be great crystalline pillars, you know, holding stuff up. That is the building material of the natural world, right? Yeah. Depends on the material. It takes a while for everything to align correctly in a large mass, so you don't have to slow it down. Think of the material, right? So bismuth is a metal where you heat it up and it melts at a relatively low temperature, and then you let it cool, and as it cools, it turns into crystals, right? So let's... Bismuth, right? And what you'll see is like it naturally forms these type of crystals, right? They're straight lines, they're inverted crystals that follow the golden ratio. And this is a metal, and this happens in minutes. These crystal, like that crystal you're looking at right there, that crystal formed in minutes, literal minutes. And you could melt this piece down till it was a blob again and make it form, and it would form a different crystal. And you could probably do it over and over and over again because that's how bismuth works, right? Other things, it takes different, you know, and then different elements require different temperatures and different times and different cooling times, right? So you're going to get different reactions to different things. It's like, yeah, Cami, that's a good way of saying it. We've got all these different ingredients and all of them behave differently. It's like when you're baking a cake and you put baking soda in for the leavener, right? Or baking powder, like whatever one you use, that makes a difference. It behaves differently. But you got to go check out these dudes that go in these giant caves and see where they end up. Like seriously, it is unfathomable. And then once you see that, you're just like, man, there could be anything down there. There could be anything. Crystals are everywhere. They say there are crystals inside birds' brains. There are. Trevor 7. There's like a crystal in our brain. We have crystals too. Like they're saying magnetite, right? They say that they're magnetite, and that's how they follow the magnetic flux lines of Earth, and that's how they know how to migrate. Right? They're sensing the magnetite crystal is sensing the magnetic field of the Earth and then sending that information to the birds so they know which direction to go, like how to migrate. Wait, I thought they said there were no straight lines in nature. I know, right? But there's straight lines all over the place. If you look at any crystal, I'll just type the word crystal image in. You can see that in crystals, there's straight lines everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. To say there are no straight lines in nature is a complete falsehood. That's what I'm saying. That's one of the things that, you know, that we were lied to about. I mean, think about it. They tell you there's no straight lines in nature. What is that? What is that? That looks like a straight line. Look at this cube. That's a perfect cube. It's a box. You know, it looks like somebody made it. But nobody made it. It just grew that way. Nobody makes these things. They just happen. They're called crystal habits. See, look here. Oh, here we go. Here's a good crystal system image. This is fantastic. So this will show you, you know, different crystal systems. Hexagonal crystal system, monoclinic, triclinic. Some of these look like there might be calcite. Cube, right? So these show you all the different ways that crystals grow, and they're different angles. Like each one has different angles. The axis will tend towards different ways. They'll twin in different ways. Like, you know, but they all have they always are consistent, right? This material always does what it does. Like aquamarine is always aquamarine, you know? Salt is always salt. These materials, you know, they're always doing what they are meant to do. So here we go. Quartz, silicon, and oxygen. Salt crystal, showing you the cube there. Ice crystal, and you know it's showing the hexagonal shape right there, because you know ice crystals, like it's like when the snowflake, it always has 6 points. This is why, because of the crystal system that ice forms in. That's why snowflakes always have 6 points. Salt is in cubes because of this structure, because of this crystal structure, because of the molecular structure at the microscopic level. That's why it's a cube. This is why. In reality, the platonic solids, crystal habits. Yeah. What about what happens when you shine pure light through natural gems versus man-made? That's spectrography? No. That's crystallography too. Well, okay, well, the man-made gems, it depends how they're made, but a lot of them will look the same. Now look at crystal habits. Let me search crystal habits. Here you got the platonic solids. Crystal habits, general forms or combinations, right? So these are just generic forms that crystals grow in. Twinned, pyramidal, dipyramidal. This is like fluorite, right? And this is also known as an octahedron. That's a platonic solid, right? Rhombohedron, prismatic. They grow in long tubes. Botryoidal is when it grows in like a cluster of grapes. Cube. There's the tetrahedron, right? Where it's kind of like a 3-sided pyramid type thing. Radial. Dodecahedron, that's like your garnets and stuff. Grow in those shapes. That's like why these crystals do that. Let's see. Where is it? I got 2 of them. Do I have any more? Oh no, I've got 3. Where? Well, hold on. Actually pretty cool because yeah, a lot of these I have like in right here. So here's a piece of, here's something that's botryoidal, where it grows in like a bubble. This is goethite, right? Here's a dodecahedron. This is a dodecahedron, which is a garnet. It grew like that. This is not carved. That's how they come. That's one of the platonic solids. Here goes like a tetrahedral shape from calcite, right? And you've got the octahedron. That's fluorite. Again, nobody carved that. It just looks that way naturally. That's how they grow. You know? So, and then here's just a regular quartz crystal. Right? And these things happen naturally on their own. Love it. If you have 3, you should just cave in and get the other 2. Well, you know, those platonic solid shapes, not all of them, like you can't get a crystal that looks exactly like the platonic solid shapes. I think like I want to say like the icosahedron doesn't really, there's no crystal that really looks exactly like an icosahedron. You can get dodecahedrons, octahedrons, but the icosahedron, I don't think so. And then, you know, then you have this. This is a desert rose. It's gypsum. It's the same stuff that's in your drywall. That's what it looks like when it forms in a crystal shape. Crystal habits earth house. Doesn't look natural, just saying. But how? See, that's just it. Jose Valadez, how? Because the material that is in these, right? Like Ben was saying, if the water is like the carrier, right? The information in the material and the water make it happen. The super saturated slurry, right? So, like this. How do crystals grow? Grow a crystal at home. Here's growing bismuth crystals, right? This is what we were talking about before, where they take it and they heat it up in a pan and then you let it cool slowly and then boom. Where did I find those? How are crystals formed?
Hello, Ralph.
What do they say?
Thousands of years, and some beautiful ones are further processed to be valuable gems and crafts. Most semiconductors are made up from silicon crystals, and that's why we call the Center of Technology in California at Silicon Valley. This valuable
That's right. The Silicon Valley is named because of the silicon that they used. And that's mostly what quartz is. That's like why they use it for keeping time and stuff like that. Quartz. Water doesn't stick to crystals. Well, actually, a literalist, it depends on what crystal it is. Because there are crystals that are hydrophobic, that absorb water and hold it. There's actually a crystal, a type of crystal mineral that exists deep, deep, deep down in the earth, like probably one of the deepest places that they go. And this type of crystal holds water. It's like a sponge crystal. So, not all crystals, not water doesn't stick to all crystals, but some actually absorb it. So that's interesting. I found out about that not too long ago when I was, digging around looking at crystal stuff. There's a crystal material that holds water. And some crystals are water soluble, like salt. Look at salt. If you put salt is a crystal. If you put salt in water, it dissolves. There's other stuff like that too. A lot of crystals are water soluble. Some of them aren't. Some of them are very hard and very resistant to water. Sponge rock crystal pan. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Crystal that absorbs water. Absorb dark energy, blah, blah, blah. Polymers, water absorbing crystals. Water, the most common chemical on Earth, can be found in the atmosphere as water vapor. Some chemicals, when exposed to water in the atmosphere, will reversibly either absorb it onto their surface or include it in their structure, forming a complex in which water generally bonds with the cation and ionic substances. This looks really wordy and techy. An anhydrous compound from a hydrate generally has the following properties: highly soluble in water, then when dissolved in water, the anhydrous compound will have a color similar to that of the original hydrate. Weird. It's probably more techy than I want to look. Best crystals that represent water. Yeah, some substances can change the body structure if kept in an open area. This is due to the absorption of water vapor or the release of water molecules from its structure. Huh. That's not telling me what I want. Anyway. 13 crystals that absorb negative energy. Moisture absorbing crystals. I think these are not natural crystals though. I wish I could remember the name of that. Anyway. Whatever. Solid material is classified as either crystalline, organized lattice, or glass, unorganized lattice structure, right? Salt doesn't make you fat. No, salt does not make you fat. Sugar makes you fat. Sugar makes you fat. And it's not even like fat. I think it's inflammation. Water is a crystal snowflake. Water is a glass ice cube. That's correct, right? So like what Cammie just said, that's important too, because water as a crystal is a snowflake, right? That's the highly organized lattice structure, right? So when water is able to cool or to freeze slowly, it has to freeze slower for those crystal things to form, for those snowflakes. Like the ice cube, when you dump the ice cube in the ice tray and then you put it in your freezer, that's freezing it kind of fast. And then it freezes in just a regular amorphous shape. It's too fast for it to form any sort of crystal structure. Like organized crystal structure. Excess salt will make the body retain water. Right. Too much food makes you fat. No salt, no energy. Salt's good for you. You know, everything in moderation, man. Just remember, yeah, too much salt will make you retain water and cause bloating. Not enough salt will have, you know, its own ill effects in its own time. Yeah. But the conditions that are present in the time that any of this stuff is going on really does have a lot to dictate with how these crystals form, though. The conditions of anything. Here's a good slide. Common characteristics of shape of a crystal or an aggregate of crystals. Commonly used terms include an equidimensional, bladed, flattened in one direction, fibrous, tabular. That's A, right? This one, right? When it grows in like a little spray of points there, like and emanating from the one radially outward from a point. Prismatic faces that are parallel to a common direction, right? So like those This is, I don't know if would be considered bladed or prismatic, but you know, like tourmaline, that's prismatic, right? Because tourmaline, it grows, you can see the lines, it grows in like a long tube. You know, you get like a stick. Tourmaline. Botryoidal, intergrown crystals representing a bunch of grapes. Yeah. This looks like the same material I had, the goethite. Right? Like that. But they're, you know, it's predictable. The point is that these are all predictable things, right? And then the difference is the variables are heat, temperature, pressure, and any other elements that may be present at the time that influence the behavior of whatever is there. What is this? That's crazy. That's green. What is that? That grows like that. It looks like Hopper Halite. Oh wow, that is so cool. So cool. So here's an example of a crystal growing in like that radial fashion with the little blades sticking out. They look like little poof balls. That's pretty cool. Here's mica or muscovite. This is what that one guy was trying to tell you is wood. Muscovite, by the way, when you split it into its little plates, it becomes clear, right? It doesn't, I don't know why they would look at this and then say that it's wood. That doesn't make any sense to me. Micaceous habit. Crystals of foliate habit are separable into leafy structures or display leaf-like projections. Maybe that's why, because it displays leaf-like projections and the layers are similar to like maybe how a tree would grow. But that's what I'm saying. You know, these are, everything grows, everything's animated by the same etheric force, whatever it is. So they're going to look similar. It doesn't mean that one thing is another. I mean, not that none of it could be, but I just think it's really hasty to jump to conclusions and start making assumptions like that. Very hasty. Emoto flash froze water and got crystalline structures. Water sticks to ants. I don't know. Did he flash freeze it? I know, well, that Veda Austin chick, she flash freezes it, but also when she flash freezes it, she's not getting the intricate snowflake pattern. I think the snowflake requires a certain set of, you know, a certain environment to grow. But then you can get the flash freezing and still get the crystalline images like we were showing from Veda Austin, where it's like the water is responding to the intent. It's responding to the energy of the living being that is there interacting with it at that time and then reflecting it back, which is so interesting. Salt. Green halite salt. Would it be radioactive? I don't know, man. How can you make air, water, smoke, and gas sticking to anything? I don't know if I understand that question. Bees also have a magnetic crystal in their bodies. That's how they lock in their hive's location, right? Elon is a government stooge. Twitter is a government data collector. What? Hey, let me ask you this. What isn't a government data collector? What thing online is not a government data collector? Can I just throw that out there? Does anybody know? Does anybody have an answer for that? I spent a lifetime identifying things that at first glance look the same. Copper turns green when oxidized. Yeah. Green diamonds are radioactive. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure there's a few different green minerals that are radioactive. So I probably wouldn't eat halite salt either. Like gravity, the dust on a cathode ray tube, that's static electricity. Right? I was also watching a video talking about if you wanted to do lapidary on any of the rocks you found, you need to do it wet all the time, because that dust, if you start sawing these crystals apart, like all these crystals, if I just started sawing on them and let the dust fly everywhere and I inhaled that stuff into my lungs, I mean, think about it. You're breaking these molecules down into their finest form again, and then you inhale it into your body, which has water and salt and warmth and goo, all those gooey places for these minerals to congeal and sort of do bad things to your body. So that's another thing. You really got to watch it when you start playing with your rocks, and if you want to start getting into cutting them in half and stuff, like you got to know what you're doing. You got to know what the material makeup is of what you're doing. You got to really get good at gem ID, and then you got to handle it properly, right? Because it's really easy to mess yourself up. I was reading stories about people who had sitting there, they were cutting their rocks up and they got sick. You can make yourself fatally sick by doing that. We have the same magnet in our nose. They don't bother telling us because they don't want us. They say we don't. Look up the nose magnet. Let's try to find it. Nose magnet. Nose clip. Magnetic nose. Magnetic nose stud. Don't stick magnets in your nose. Magnet inside your nose. Nope. They don't want you to know about it. What's inside your nose? Nose anatomy. Function. Cartilage, nasal bowing. They don't tell you anything if we have that. It's like, it's the same as like whenever you look up anything about the brain, they don't tell you, they don't mention the pineal gland. In fact, a lot of the images, like if you see a section of a real brain cut in half and then it has a little diagram of stuff pointing to it, the pineal gland is almost never fucking there. And we know it exists, right? We know it's there. It's in there, but they leave it out. They don't label it almost all the time. So are they going to tell you, they don't want you to know about the magnet in your nose either? What's inside of your nose? This is all just looking about nose problems. How do I search for finding the magnet in your nose? Oh, do you have a link, Cami? Thank you. Do humans have a compass in their nose? Some years ago, scientists at Caltech discovered that humans possess a tiny, shiny crystal of magnetite in the ethmoid bone located between your eyes just behind the nose. Magnetite is a magnetic mineral also possessed by homing pigeons, migratory salmon, dolphins, honeybees, and bats. And that's just what they found it in. Probably everybody's got one. Probably all living things have that. I'd be willing to bet to some degree. Indeed, some bacteria can even contain strands of magnetite that function, according to Dr. Charles Walcott of blah 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 blah, as tiny compass needles, allowing them, the bacteria, to orient themselves in the Earth's magnetic field and swim down to their happy home in the mud. It seems the magnetite helps direction finding in animals and helps migratory species migrate successfully by allowing them to draw upon the Earth's magnetic fields, but scientists are not sure how they do this. In any case, when it comes to humans, according to some experts, magnetite makes the ethmoid bone sensitive to the Earth's magnetic field and helps your sense of direction. Some such as Dr. Dennis J. Walmsley, blah blah blah, have even suggested that this compass was helpful in human evolution as it made migration and hunting easier. Well, I mean, obviously, I don't think evolution is real, but so if you have a tiny magnetite crystal, so then it's obviously somehow sensing the field and sending that information to your brain or whatever, the rest of your body, right? Do tape demagnetizers work for the nose? We had more diamonds than rappers. Yeah, yes, exactly, Trevor. You must remain, that must remain wet, and you should wear a mask. Like, that's a time when you actually should be wearing a mask. Right? Not when you're going to the grocery store, but when you're cutting up rocks. You know, when you're putting harmful stuff into the air around you. Now labeled vestigial. Oh, so they're saying like it's not even needed anymore. You know, it's so funny. And then, you know, it kind of, and then with all of the electrification of the grid and all the electronics that we have, I mean, it kind of makes sense why a lot of people have a horrible sense of direction, right? Your signal is getting all messed with. Because if you, you can influence magnetic fields with an electric field, right? And, you know, it's like, it just makes sense to me that that would totally screw you up. That's why people get that's why we all need GPS now. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm going to look up this ethmoid bone. I want to see if I can find more details. Let's see what Sheeplepedia says. The ethmoid bone from ancient Greek, ethmos, is an unpaired bone in the skull that separates the nasal cavity from the brain. It is located at the roof of the nose between the two orbits. This cubical bone is lightweight due to the spongy construction. The ethmoid bone is one of the bones that make up the orbit of the eye. So what is it, in the back of the eye, or is it at the, which one is it? This picture highlights 7 of the bones of the orbit of the eye. Ethmoid bone is light blue. What? This little tiny thing right here? Really? Ethmoid bone, light blue. That can't be right. One for each labyrinth. structure. Does it say anything about magnetite? Ethmoid bone is an anterocranial bone between the eyes, perpendicular plate, labyrinth, plate, blah, nasal septum. Nothing about magnetite. There. Condensate, labyrinth. 2 labyrinth. Nothing about magnetite there. Oh, here we go. Role in magnetoception. Some birds and other migratory animals have deposits of biological magnetite in their ethmoid bones, which allow them to sense the direction of Earth's magnetic field. Humans have a similar magnetite deposit, ferric iron, but it is believed to be vestigial. All right. Magnetoception. Okay, now I didn't know there was magnetoreception. Is that what it says? Well, this says magnetoception, and then you click on it, it says magnetoreception. Magnetoreception is a sense which allows an organism to detect the Earth's magnetic field. Animals with this sense include some arthropods, mollusks, vertebrates, fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, though not humans. This sense is mainly used for orientation and navigation, but it may help some animals to form regional maps. Experiments on migratory birds provide evidence that they make use of cryptochrome protein in the eye, relying on a quantum radical pair mechanism to perceive magnetic fields. This effect is extremely sensitive to weak magnetic fields and readily distributed by radio frequency interference, unlike a conventional iron compass. Irons have iron-coating materials in their upper beaks. There is some evidence that this provides a magnetic sense. Fish. So they're trying to tell you everything but humans have it. Come on, that's a bunch of bullshit. Biologists have long wondered whether migrating animals such as birds, sea turtles have an inbuilt magnetic compass, enabling them to navigate using Earth's magnetic field. Yeah. So they want you to believe that humans don't have it. Although, didn't I get linked to this article from, let's hit the back button, from ethmoid bone in a human, role in magnetoception. It's believed to be vestigial, so they're disregarding it, just like they disregard the pineal gland. Ethmoid bone from above. Interesting. And I also think it's interesting that the bone is soft and spongy, because if it is soft and spongy, then it sort of allows that little magnetic crystal that could potentially be sitting inside the bone to jostle a little bit, and then that's got to be how you know you reading the field, because that little crystal is going to be moved and influenced, very subtly, right? And if the bone is spongy, then those little nerve endings that are touching that crystal, whenever it moves, it's going to feed that information to your brain, and it's going to tell you where you are. I think it's funny that they link to an article about the human brain, and then it tell you, oh, but humans don't have it. Lying ass sheeplepedia. Lying. So now I want to... because they lie to us. Yeah. I know, I believed you, Cammy, but I just couldn't find it. They make it not easy to find. I never even thought of this word, magnetoreception. Unraveling of the bird. Let's see what they say here. Human magnetic sense is mediated by a light and a magnetic field resonance dependent mechanism. Numerous organisms use the Earth's magnetic field as a sensory cue for migration, body alignment, or food search. Despite some contradictory reports, yet it is generally accepted that humans do not sense the geomagnetic field. I don't believe that, though. Here, we demonstrate that a magnetic field resonance mechanism mediates light-dependent magnetic orientation in men using a rotary chair experiment combined with 2 alternative force choice paradigm. The two groups of subjects were classified with different magnetic orientation tendencies depending on the food context. Magnetic orientation of the subjects was sensitive to the wavelength of incident light and was critically dependent on blue light reaching the eyes. Importantly, it appears that a magnetic field resonance-dependent mechanism mediates these responses. It is evidenced by disruption or augmentation of the ability to orient by radio frequency magnetic fields at the Lamore frequency and the dependence of these effects on the angle between the radio frequency and the geomagnetic fields. Furthermore, inversion of the vertical component of the geomagnetic field revealed a non-canonical inclination compass effect on the magnetic orientation. These results established the existence of a human magnetic sense that suggests an underlying quantum mechanical magnetoreception mechanism. Interesting. Research on magnetoreception in humans is very limited. It is widely accepted that the Earth's static magnetic field is not sensed by humans, while alternating magnetic fields such as power frequency fields and pulsed fields can have adverse health effects and therapeutic applications respectively. Exactly. Like, see, they know that we are affected by electricity and magnetism. They know this. We know that they use these two things to fool us all the time. So how can they say that if we're sensitive to these things, that we don't have this magnetoreception thing going on? Clearly we do. But you know, it's never ceases to amaze me how effective they are at educating people out of using their creator-given abilities, right? So this is a creator-given ability. Your body is physically equipped with the tools to sense the magnetic field of the earth and use it for direction, right? And everybody just ignores it. Everybody, you know, or it's severely inhibited or messed with by the electrification of the grid and all the electronics that we're all around all the time. But you can't, it's like, you know, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that we don't sense the magnetic field and then show that we have all these effects as a result of different electric and magnetic fields. So, why do I think you are secretly talking about me? What are you talking about, Dave? With the magnets? I heard dogs poop facing north. I don't know, but I really did hear that once. Might have been for someone on meth just saying. Zulu 1, I've gone over this. I showed a picture of Remington pooping facing south. Like, I started taking pictures of him so you could see that his shadow was in all these different directions. My dog almost never takes a shit facing north. That is nonsense. It's nonsense. They just poop whatever direction you're walking in. Whoever said that, they must go on the same walk all the time, and the dog must poop in the same spot all the time, and it always happens to be facing north. Seriously, I think that's just how stupid it is. I make sure my head is not laying west when I sleep, go figure. That's a, big man. Oh, big magnets in the nose. In the article, it said it was different than normal magnet and was interfered with by radio signals. So if we are away from the radio soup in the air, we might lock into it more. Maybe. I would think so. I think that if you get away from the electrical grid and get more out into nature, I think it takes a little bit of time, but I think you can get more in tune with your innate sense of direction. Okay, so they actually did testing and they proved it that we do have humans have a magnetic sense. Very interesting. Magnetoreception. Come on with the stupid ball. The molecules, mechanisms, and immediate sensory transduction remain unknown. So how could animals detect magnetic fields? Mechanically sensitive magnetite-based magnetoreceptor. 2. A light-sensitive chemical-based mechanism. And 3. Electromagnetic induction with accessory structures. I mean, it makes sense that there would be a couple different ways to sort of, for your body to sort of sense the electromagnetic field of the earth. Especially if your eyes don't work and it's a light sensitive thing, you would have to have more than just it be light sensitive. A sense without a receptor. See, that's an assumption though. A sense without a receptor. To me, it makes perfect sense. Like how I just described it earlier. If there's a little crystal and it's inside of a soft, spongy bone, right? Doesn't that make sense that the minute movements of that crystal inside there would then touch different sensors and then send that information to your brain? Like, it makes sense to me. A mechanically sensitive magnetite-based magnetoreceptor. In many sensory systems, the receptor proteins involved in transducing the signal are directly influenced by the incoming stimulus and undergo structural rearrangements upon activation. For instance, it is known that the mechanosensitive channel, piezo-1, directly senses forces at the plasma membrane, resulting in cation flux in response to the pressure. That's what I just said! Influx in response to the pressure, right? So if the thing's moving and it's putting different pressure on different things, then that's what it is. Why do they have to act like everything's so mysterious? I don't know. Anyway, so it's real, but they don't want you to know about it. An anatomical structure that would enable electromagnetic induction. Finally, the detection of magnetic fields might rely on accessory structures that convert the magnetic field into another stimulus. For instance, terrestrial vertebrates do not detect gravity directly, but rather rely on a bed of calcium carbonate otoliths, which apply a force on a population of sensory hair cells. What is that? What is he describing? Similarly, the auditory system exploits a complex array of accessory structures that convert airborne and sound pressure waves into gathering spring tension on mechanosensitive ion channels in hair cells. As magnetism and electricity are inseparable, it is conceivable that secondary structure might convert information about the Earth's magnetic field into an electric stimulus. This proposition, which reflects Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, predicts that movement of an animal in a fixed magnetic field would induce an electromotive force in a conductor. If a circuit exists, a change in electric potential could be detected by cells expressing voltage-sensitive channels. This idea has primarily been considered with respect to aquatic animals who reside within a conductive medium, i.e. the ocean, and possess electroreceptors that are sensitive to electric stimuli. So that's like static electrics, is what I'm hearing. I mean, however, it is conceivable that the electromagnetic induction may also occur with the endolymph of the semicircular canals of birds, blah, blah, blah. Although magnetosensation by electromagnetic induction was proposed as early as 82 by the Frenchman Camille Viguier, there is limited behavioral, anatomical, physiological, or experimental data that directly supports it. Frenchman named Camille. I feel like that's a weird name for a dude, even for French. Why is behavioral experience? Why is the detecting magnetoreception so challenging, huh? It has to be acknowledged that in contrast to many other fields in sensory biology, experimental approaches in magnetoreception cannot be based on instinctive concepts. Humans lack, at the very least, an active perception of the Earth's magnetic field. Well, why do they say that? This complicates the design of the experiments that aim to unravel specific aspects of the sensory modality and compromises an experimenter's ability to detect obvious artifacts. Secondly, electrophysiology methods, which are widely used in sensory neurobiology, have limited utility with respect to the magnetic sense. The application of magnetic stimuli risks electromagnetic induction in a recording electrode, which makes the interpretation of electrophysiological data challenging. So basically they're saying because we live in an electric universe and because they would be using electric equipment to try to detect whether or not humans have the physical ability to detect the electromagnetic field, that they just can't prove it one way or another because you're in the environment and there's no way to extract the human from the influence of the natural world and therefore prove that that is what's happening. I guess this is one of those cases where, I guess it sounds like it's one of those cases where science can't prove something, but you see the effects of it. So it could be? I don't know. Interesting. Interaction of the fields, Lenz's law. Yes, there's precedent. Yeah, I'm still going. I'm going to end soon, though. It's already 1 o'clock. I just found this subject interesting. The day we figure out fire, we win. It was a question I asked at 12 in class. What do you mean? The day we figure out fire. I'm a scientist, right? More on the chemistry side. 15 years ago, when I did go to school, I've fallen off and become a truth seeker in all fields. Everybody's a scientist. No, they don't. I can find North. I think most people can if they quiet their minds and let themselves feel. I mean, I can sort of give examples of when that sort of intuition has helped me. Like if I've been driving and I miss a turn, you know, it's like all of a sudden you're like, whoa, 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 something don't feel right. And then you start looking around and I'm like, oh shit, I missed my turn. Right? Because if you travel a specific route regularly, like think about that. If you're traveling a route specifically all the time, then you're going to be used to the field, right? That magnetic field of that area or of that path, the fluctuations, right? You get used to that feeling, that muscle memory, maybe like a type of muscle memory, but instead of a muscle memory, it's like a field memory, right? So when you miss that turn, even though you're not like, it's not because you've seen physically or, you know, that you've recognized it yet that you've missed the turn, you feel it first. You're like, whoa, wait, something don't feel right. Well, maybe it's because you're feeling like this is not the regular path I'm supposed to take. You know, something inside of you is telling you that information. It's like, something's not right. This isn't how it goes, you know? Cheers, Cammy. Thank you for the tip. I love you. Fire doesn't have math to the flame. Nobody knows how to create fire in a lab without combustion. Why would you need to? Why? 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 Why would you need to? I don't know. Anyway, that's where I would imagine something like that working. Or, you know, like situations like that. You know, or like if you got in a car and somebody blindfolded you. I guess that's a good way to try it. I would try that. I would be like, okay, let's blindfold me and then drive from point A to point B and then do it a couple times and then change the route and then see if you can recognize the one time you didn't take that route. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways where you could. I think it's an interesting thing to sort of dive into. Animals take the same path. Exactly. They do take the same path. That's why like they wear little trails into the woods and stuff. Like deer, they always take the same path. Yeah. Karen, bring up a recent photo of Glenn Close, who was just diagnosed with COVID-19, the most obvious man in the history of the world. Oh, Lord. They're keeping COVID going forever. Now been over 3 years. Anyone pushing COVID in? Yeah. Well, but they said COVID's over, though. COVID's over. The U.S. is open. We can now bring in our people from other countries. And also, I'm not really a big fan of doing the whole transvestigation thing, because especially, like, I mean, Glenn Close, she's older now. She's old, so she's gonna look different than she used to. I just don't. I don't. Where did my little tab go? How come I can't click images? Look, it's not even. Wow, how could look at? You see how the image things goes away? What? Weird. Weird. It's not letting me click images. Why is it being dumb? Let's try Google search. Is it doing it there too? I mean, I don't know. That's just, she's always had that face with that bone structure. Like I said, not a fan of the transvestigation thing, especially because that shit gets turned on me and I'm like, whoa, 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 buddy. Whoa. Whoa. Your gut feeling and will tell you all you need to know. That could have something to do with the gut feeling, don't you think? Maybe? If it's sensing electrical fields, electromagnetic fields, it could have something to do with your intuition too. I think it's a whole system. You know, it's like when they tell you, you know, think with your head, not with your heart. I think that's dumb. Because your heart, obviously the heart field is downloading and uploading information from the ether constantly, and it's the first one to get the information, you know, that intuition information. That's why you feel things in your chest and you don't feel it in your head, right? Those feelings you get, those come from the heart, not from the head. So they're intimately connected, right? Because you feel something in your heart and then you have to analyze it in your brain. Most, if not all, celebrity women are dudes. I know it's a tough pill to swallow and called people crazy for same thing, but after a deep dive into it, I've completely changed my mind. Well, in my opinion, you just went on a deep dive and you programmed yourself to believe it. Like, I mean, I've looked at all that stuff too. I mean, people have been doing all that transvestigation stuff for years, but the fact of the matter is that there's a whole bunch of different body types, and you can't put everybody into like the stereotypical body type. There's certain things that are tells, I mean, you know, that make it obvious. But to me, most of the people that they say are these women that they say are men just aren't. They just aren't. Like, you know, I really wouldn't worry about that too much. I really wouldn't. I think there's more important things to think about. You know, I mean, you can convince yourself of just about anything. And this goes back to like everybody being programmed to like ignore certain things or ignore this magnetosensor, your magnetoreceptor that's in your brain, right? Or the intuition that you get in your gut, you know. They have educated us to ignore these innate senses that we have, these abilities that we have, right? And they've drowned them out with the noisy electrification of the grid. So, you know, I just don't. I wondered a few times if it could be where their stomach, when stomach crawls, it means collective reacting to info. Okay, well, yeah, it could be. It could be because you have 3 brains, okay? I need to wrap up, but you've got 3 brains. There's 3 parts of your body that have neurons, you know, your brain, your heart, and your gut. So your brain has a brain, your heart has a brain, and your gut has a brain. And all 3 of these things work in unison together. You know, it's like there's a number of these things that I consider holy trinities, right? Heart, brain, gut, right? Those 3 brains, those are important to keep healthy. Mind, body, spirit, too. It kind of goes along with that. Mind, body, and spirit, right? Your brain, your mind, your body is your gut, right? Because everything you eat goes through your gut. Your gut processes that food to replenish your body. And then your spirit, I would consider that in your heart, right? So these things, I think, work in unison. These trinities, you know, it's like water. Water molecule is 2 H's and an O. It forms that trinity molecule. You know, I kind of getting off on a tangent there, but you know. But yeah, your stomach has a gut, a brain. Your gut has a brain, your heart has a brain, and your brain has a brain. Yeah. So anyway, that's where I'm on that. I think I'm going to wrap it up. I do appreciate you guys joining me here for Flat Earth Coffee Talk. No path, teacher, tool, or experience can make you more spiritual than what you already blah blah blah. Hello, Rainier 101. What's VOC documentary? Next level? Meh. All right. So anyway, thank you for joining me for Coffee Talk today. Did go a little long, little weird tangents here and there. Hope you enjoyed it, our little chit chat, our time together this morning, our quiet chit chat time. Please join me and Mark Sargent back here tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. for another episode of Strange World, episode 407, And I will most likely be announcing details to Flattoberfest tomorrow evening. I know tickets have not been put on sale yet. I'm almost there. I am so close. So be ready. Be ready. Be ready. It's going to be a blast. And what else? Anything else? Make it a splendid day. I do appreciate you guys. I don't like people in white coats. All right. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say except have a great day, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for calling. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being you. All right. Cheers. And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina, 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations. And I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flattoberfests and Flat Earth-friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local Flat Earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com. Thank you for being here.